Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, sirs and madams. It's your buddy Admiral Teag, and now that football season is over, I'm allowed to wear my Yankee hat instead of my badge of shame. Welcome. They say today is a great day. So hit the like and follows. Please, if you already follow the channel, consider turning on the notification bell. Help get the word out. We're not around so much that we send out a lot of notifications, but when we're around, boy, do we have stuff to talk about. Germ, have you heard this exciting story regarding Kathleen Kennedy and the stuff going on the other side of the pop culture world, or as we call it, the galaxy far, far away?
Yeah, I heard what they want you to believe is news.
Unpack what you mean by that. The story is Kathleen Kennedy fired to be replaced by some dude and Dave Filoni.
Some chick in Dave Filoni.
I think it's
Basically,
two
her
men. I
assist.
think it's two men. Bob Iger has the female replacement. And by the way, if you thought that Bob Iger was protecting Kathleen Kennedy, both leaving at once does not do anything to disabuse you of the belief that that is in fact the case. So what do you think?
A pencil pusher and the guy who should have gotten her job the first time will take her job when she decides to leave, which they still haven't pronounced a date on that yet. She could continue another 10 years at that job, and that they're just in waiting.
Dave Filoni must have some animation talent because before he did Star Wars, he did King of the Hill, so he must have some kind of ability. He can redraw someone else's art. He can draw a cell. God knows, I saw something today that was just absolutely the most horribly drawn stuff ever. I would just say, if you're going to go out there and try to crowdfund your own comic on X, just remember that everyone can just put that image through Grok and find out just exactly what classes you skipped at art school. Torso always a little too small, huh, Jerem?
Yeah, that is a flaw in art.
All right, so let me ask you a question here. You're saying that you think that in a ceremonial sense, that corner office will be empty and someone else will move in. Kathleen Kennedy will be somewhere on the lot, maybe in some bodega, in some cabana somewhere, bungalow, hanging out, and like every once in a while, she'll be able to manifest herself like some kind of Sith ghost, and she'll be like, "Put a chick in it and make it gay," and they will do that. That's what you're saying.
That
It doesn't
is
matter who's in
a
charge.
positive way. That no, she can continue as she is because they have not announced her resigning or leaving or anything else. They just said when she leaves her job, these are the people that's going to take her job. Nothing
Okay.
else.
Well, I far be it from me to simply read, but Screen Rant is one of America's longest continuously published pieces of total fucking bullshit. And this is what it has to say. Initially reported by Matthew Baloney of Puck News, Kennedy, aged 71, is stepping down this year, according to Baloney. Three sources have, and what a great name to be sourced as. Mr. Baloney says this is true. Three sources have confirmed she's informed Disney as well as friends and associates. Kathy was actually planning to leave last year, Baloney reports, and even set up an exit interview with a journalist, but she decided to stay for one more year. Variety has now confirmed sources telling them Kennedy will step down when her contract finishes at the end of the year, although another source close to Kennedy dismissed this as pure speculation. Germ, I'm going to just say right now, Kathleen Kennedy stepping down, even if she does, what kind of job do they give her next? I mean, does she stay on as a consultant, right?
She doesn't stay on at all. When she leaves, she'll leave for good, but that.
You're saying this to me, to you, this definitely isn't it.
We got the same BS at the beginning of last year and the year before that, and the year before that, and until she's
also, and then before that, we got it multiple times a year because she was producing a lot. The reason we don't get it is the reason it went to an annual thing the last 3 years. you gotta admit that that's because it was popping every week, and it was like it messed up a few people's YouTube careers. It made a few people look like they didn't know what they're talking about. But the bottom line is, there is no reason why she's still there. And the reports that she was being fired or run out, they probably were based on the fact that there were rogue factions just trying to get rid of her. The one thing that Germ and I probably do agree on, Germ, sir, would you say that it's most likely that since she's been there, it's been one long night of the long nights of people fending each other off and outwoking each other to try to stay employed with Disney and at Lucasfilm as this bloodletting has gone on for years now?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's been. Bob Iger's dream.
If you can get fired for tweeting beep boop bop, and also, by the way, become the most popular person from this company by tweeting that. Like your job's just, you're never safe. It's not a normal place to work. By the way, guys, I'm just pale. I don't have Spider-Man tattooed across my chest. That's just the way it is. I speak for light-skinned Latino people from New York. What do you think, Jerem? Would Rachel Ziegler dispute my ability to do it, despite the fact us being equally Latino?
Yeah, there's a good chance.
She probably would, right? It's a good thing that she quit Hollywood. Anyway, Kathleen Kennedy's departure is time for for a major Star Wars relaunch. Here's the thing: the reason why I will give you your due about it's become an annual event is because it was just popping every few weeks and it was ridiculous. So, yeah, the annual exit was just a contained version of them saying like, Kathy's thinking about it. Yeah, when this Indiana Jones, the first iteration of it was when Dial of Destiny is a hit, she's going to go. And then what we heard is, she's waiting for a hit so she can leave. Her last extension has included absolutely no projects. What was done last year? What was the 2025 Disney project? The Acolyte was 24, right?
I think that may have bled over.
But by weeks, it wasn't a 2025 project.
Yeah, I can't really recall what was a solid actual Lucasfilm project.
Mandalorian season 3 was quite finished by the time we got to 2025, and maybe like well into there might have been a lot of 2024 left. There's been a real ratcheting down of Star Wars material. Now, I don't count like horse shit stuff like Tales of the Jedi. Have you ever seen Tales of the Jedi?
Yeah, Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire. Those are just
they're horse shit, and anybody could make them. There are absolute baby Ahsoka using the Force to like protect her dad because her dad can't fend off like small forest animals that he brought his kid in danger to. What was his plan if he didn't have a baby? It's like the one with baby Ahsoka was so stupid. It reminded me of in The Boys when when they find the baby that has the same powers as Homelander, and when it opens his eyes, like the Cyclops like beams come out, and all of a sudden someone attacks him, so they grab the baby and wake it up, and the baby opens his eyes, and they use the baby as a laser. It's like it's that dumb. Except that was supposed to be dumb.
Actually, I believe most of that was before 2025 as well. I think just Tales of the Empire was last year.
And what was that? Like, how much of it even had dialogue? Wasn't there at least one episode with no dialogue at all?
And it's kind of hard to remember. I did my best to block it out.
And hello, everybody. We got people everywhere. Listen. Here's the deal. There's life on Mars. YouTube likes when we do it, so I give them a Mars stream once or twice a week. It's also really good for exposure, discoverability. It's the ad campaign I don't have to launch. If you like what you're hearing, the pinned post on the vertical stream, which is marked the vertical stream, says go to the landscape stream, no ads. There's no ads on the landscape stream. The two things that YouTube keeps telling me is, sir, run ads, sir. Run them while you're live, sir. And I think that this is just a terrible disconnection between us and our audience. Jerem, your opinion on my decision not to run ads on a landscape feed?
it's a good one.
You know who told
It
you?
throws everything out of sync if you put ads in.
Why would you want to watch my show if you can't be connected to me while I'm live? If you're watching later on demand, I apologize, but the policy is one commercial about 20 minutes in and then one an hour. So we don't rake people over the coals in our shows. Like 3 commercials is a lot for our show. 3 breaks. Whatever else YouTube does is beyond me, and sometimes YouTube locks me out from unmonetizing it until I can get it down to a reasonable amount of commercials. If there's a ton of commercials, I'm sorry, it's not me. Come back a little while later and watch again, hit like and come back. I will fix it. But as far as the Mars streams go, the vertical stream, I don't know why they want it, but it takes care of 2 things at once. So like, sir, run a Mars stream. Sir, run commercials. The commercials go on Mars. Everyone else, come on over to the landscape stream. More people will discover Mars eventually. All they're doing is throwing me in the shorts feed to confuse people. And you know what? Who am I to get between them and what they want, while still being able to preserve a relationship with you, my audience? So that being said, let's talk right on the money about Kathleen Kennedy. This year's rumor is being reported all over the place, including in Screen Rant. Variety confirmed it. Once Variety and the Hollywood Reporter started confirming it, it seems to be true. 71, pretty old. 10 years, a long time to go with only one hit.
Not even.
Well, the one hit would be Force Awakens on nostalgia and on just plain old people, missing Star Wars. It wasn't good. It was just the movie went by too fast for people to realize it was absolute trash.
It actually turns out most of their tickets were pre-sales.
So well, I mean, I don't know if you could tell from the trailer that it was going to be ass. We knew it was going to be ass because we like Star Trek. Guys, this is the deal. J.J. Abrams' The Force Awakens was appreciably better than his last movie. The last movie we saw from J.J. before that, Star Trek Into Darkness, was, Jerem, how much worse is Into Darkness than Star Wars The Force Awakens?
Actually, not that much.
Yeah, except that it had stuff as stupid as Luke and Vader getting on the same team in movie 1 5 minutes after they met to get a common goal accomplished and then going back to being enemies. I mean, it's that stupid. There's no way they would have been, it was like tonally a mess. It's just all over the place, absolutely crazy. And about 20 minutes into Star Trek Into Darkness, I'm like, ooh, I didn't hear that. Did you?
It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Sometimes it just doesn't work. There's something going on with our StreamYards environment tonight, folks. So if things get a little wonky, let us know. Let's see who's out there, and let's take a look at our poll. We got Oiler Greg. Hello, sir. Hello to Gavin Blackburn. Hello to Mark Harkness. Mark, there's a little icon that tells me you're watching on the vertical stream. Do me a favor, go to the pin post and come over to the landscape stream, my friend. It's good to see you, sir. Dave C is here. Hello, Dave C. We have Sci-Fi Sith Dan, a friend of both mine and yours. I think I said hi to Gavin. John the Beagle Dad is here. We also have the Trek Reviewer. Hello. And Shrubby, gifted 10 memberships. Whoa. Shrubby, I missed that by 8 minutes. I am remiss in that one. Shrubby, sir, let's see who you've brought into the fellowship for us. I mean, wow. Who is now a member of the Q Continuum? Thanks to our pal Shrubby. Shrubby, wow. First of all, apologies. And second of all, let's see what hath you done for us. It is really cool that you did that. It's not coming through on the regular feed, which is weird. I'm trying to see what's going. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it is weird. The pop-out chat is so weird as opposed to the regular chat. I'm trying to see who got the memberships. It's only showing up here on StreamYards. It's not showing up on YouTube. I'm sorry that I missed it. Shrubby, 1989, bringing 10 members into our family. I thank you so very much. Let's see who got one. Did anyone out there know that you got one? It's not showing up. Jerm, what is going on with StreamYards these days? And YouTube, for that matter?
YouTube is getting a little bit antsy about people actually making money, I guess.
Are they with telling me that I got 10 gifted memberships, but not telling anyone else because it didn't show? Greg, maybe you got one. John, maybe you got one. Gavin, Sci-Fi Sith Dad, all of you. Listen, Dave C, perhaps you got one. Perhaps Shrubby did it for all of you. And Shrubby, I want to apologize. This is a YouTube thing. It is not showing up on YouTube. It only came across on the StreamYard side. So I'm checking my 3 different interfaces, and you've done this great thing for our channel, and I have not had a chance to thank you or to acknowledge the people that you have brought on board. Miskatonic, hello, welcome to the show, sir. It's good to see you, Miskatonic Madman. And Lombardi 1969, hello, welcome to you, sir. It's good to see you. I don't know what to say, Shrubby. It is absolutely disgraceful that YouTube did this to you, and I got to apologize from the bottom of my heart. I feel like you know what the people I know who are
I figured it out now.
What happened? It's on the vertical stream. I got okay. Well, you know what, Shrubby? I'm sorry. That's just one more interface for me to watch. Let me go over there and take a look at that one so that I can then do the proper thank you. You know what? I totally don't even know that the vertical stream is there. Okay, so UK Danger Man is back in the circle. Marcelo Lopez has joined us. Mr. Anderson has joined us. Pops has joined us. Gavin Blackburn and Mark Harkness. Lick the like button and have some gifties, he says. Jonathan Hancock, DJ Play Nice, and Ages Flow Drives to Hike. Welcome. And Rebel Rose, that's my friend Rachel. She is so nice. Welcome aboard, everybody. Now you get to be a member of the channel. We're going to have a member stream soon enough. That one will be pure vertical stream. I am so sorry, Shrubby. You know what? This extra interface thrown in here just like it burns the brain. We thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. 10 gift memberships is really, really, really generous. Are you still out there, my man? I am so sorry. At Shrubby, you know what? I apologize for missing that. I am just now overloaded with some of the things that they have me doing, and I feel bad. Like 6 minutes went by before I thanked Shrubby.
Yeah, that's getting kind of confusing why it didn't pop up everywhere.
We're really, really sorry, Shrubby. I don't know what to say. Listen, check in. Let me know that you got the apology because I feel bad. Anyway, Phantom Boomer just got here, and I want to thank everyone. Guys, if you're on a chat that has a pinned post, you can go to the top and jump on over to the vertical stream. The vertical stream, I'm sorry, to the landscape stream. The vertical stream is going to go away after the show, but Shrubby was really, really generous to us, and I got to thank Shrubby from the bottom of my heart. And Gavin is thanking Shrubby. Everyone is thanking Shrubby, and I feel bad. But let's just talk about what's going on right now. We'll keep an eye out for more info from Shrubby. Here's our article from the Hollywood Reporter, and it's telling us a few things that suspect at best, but only because we have heard them so many times before. This has been thrown at us. Our take on Kathleen Kennedy's departure often served as a lightning rod for criticism in the Disney era. I would say she often earned the strikes of lightning repeatedly hitting her. What would you say?
Yeah, getting hit by lightning, that would just brings a tear to my eye. I would love that.
Well, yeah, right. People have wished it on me. Guys, if you see Shrubby, tell him that I missed it and that I'm really sorry. It took me a couple of minutes to react. I don't know that he's still in the chat. I might have walked out too if someone took 5 minutes to acknowledge my gift of such generosity. And I can only apologize so many times before it becomes the whole show. So like when I see Shrubby, I'll say it again, but wow, I feel really bad, guys. Keep your eyes out for Shrubby and tell him that I did try to fulsomely thank him. When we run the Mars stream, it gets a little confusing. So back to the story. It's Lucasfilm has had many successes. What? As heavily criticized as the sequels may be, few trilogies grossed $4.4 billion worldwide. Didn't they? How much did they pay for Star Wars? $12 billion.
Just about $4 billion.
So they made these movies, and they made these movies that made $400 million more than the buying price.
So
that's the price of two movies. So
whatever they've invested,
they might have realized 200 million off the $4 billion or $4 billion sunk.
Yeah.
Probably more like 13 or 14 billion dollars. Probably more like $5 or $6 billion when you include the costs and publicity of these three movies. So there is no profit. It still seems to be a loss as far as we
the
can
franchise has made back its purchase price in 13 years. Anything they've invested beyond purchase price from George Lucas is dead. Just dead weight on them at this point.
They made back their purchase price but didn't turn a profit. They only recouped their money. And remember, we talked about this when we talked about like deficit economies and stuff like that, and how to like make sometimes if on a macro level loans and having the money but using it first. It came up in Landman. If you have the money, the best thing you could do is invest the money, then borrow money at a lower rate, use that money to cover your money. Then you pay back the money with the money that you had already and invested, and keep the interest and make the money that the money was at work for. And then Monty added like 3 more steps to that in Landman. But that is basically what goes on here.
Yes, but when you get down to brass taxes, in 13 years, the franchise has grossed back the purchase price. So whatever money they invested in the sequel trilogy, Ahsoka, all those various cartoons, they're essentially eating the cost.
This is a really good point. Did anyone else see the video on Clownfish where he went to what's called Ollie's? That's their discount Big Lot store. And he was blowing the dust off the rays and showing the Force Awaken rays and how long they've been sitting there. And they've been sitting. What we're saying is they've been sitting at the discount place for like 6 years now. They sat around the first and second tier places for like the first 4 years.
Well, the UK must be behind the times. They cleared them out of the Big Lots and stuff here years ago.
No, this guy's in Pennsylvania. Clownfish is in Western PA, near Ohio, if I have that one right. Maybe Central PA.
Well, I thought Ollie's was UK.
There might be something called Ollie's in the UK, but Ollie's is a discount, like Big Lot store by him. And he goes there a lot to buy like comics and stuff like that. And what he'll do is like, he'll show you what's like at Ollie's. And like for the last few years, every few months, he's checked in there and shown us the Star Wars rack. And what's happening is the Star Wars rack, instead of selling out, like it just gets bigger. And now they just have bins and bins and bins of like Force Awakens stuff. And like, no one wants any of it. No one wants any of it. So the merchandising is a good point, Mark. The money would have been made much back in the stock market. So KK is a financial idiot. You know what? As bad as life is for the average American, the stock market no longer is a indicator of economic prosperity for the everyday American. So I'm going to have to say you're probably right, because the stock market's great. We're not doing as great as the stock. Ray is KK's avatar. A lot of people have said that is literally true, Oya Greg. And I guess she does fancy herself as an English sporty lass, I guess. Jerm, what do you think of that one? I didn't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I'm going to have to reset.
Okay, yeah, because my bubble is popping. Guys, if you can't hear me, just let me know right by now. Admiral Holdo and Rose Tico figures. You know what? Honestly, here's like a good idea that just didn't work out. Honestly, there's a good idea that just didn't work out. When The Last Jedi hit, now I didn't do this, but the figures sat around so long that this went through my mind. So yeah, everyone's saying that the merchandise is supposed to be the big deal for Disney Star Wars. And for a lot of these franchises, they tried to do it with Star Trek as well. How is it now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. All right. So with the Admiral Holdo and Rose Tico figures, I was just saying one thing that you might have been tempted to do when Last Jedi comes out is view it as an outlier failure. I viewed it as they're showing us the content of their character. But how many people do you think strategically took like $50 and bought like 75 Admiral Holdo, like Star Wars Black limited edition 10-inch figures, because they're like, people will need these to finish their collections one day when they write this, right? Because a lot of people were drinking that Kool-Aid and snorting that copium where they were saying, sirs, madams, in a few years it'll be just like the prequel trilogy and you'll like it too, with the difference that they weren't acknowledging being the second sequel trilogy is markedly better than the first one, and the third one's an outright great movie. Whereas in the sequels, I don't know if you want to call it a flat spin or a continuous dive. I mean, they start a dive they never pull out of. It would be another way of putting it. How would you describe the sequel trilogies?
Flat dive seems to be the best description.
Well, I think flat spin, just like never, like a complete failure to launch.
Yeah, for the most part. You had the nostalgia off of the first one, which no one really cared about.
Right, so there was some money coming in.
Came out, there's no recovery.
You could walk out of the first one with a reasonable expectation that someone who wasn't an idiot might be able to fix the pieces of the first movie with the second movie, is the way I would put it. Also, as a Star Trek fan, this went through my mind. Tell me what you think and give me a quick comparison. My mind was, I didn't think this movie was too good, but it's so much better than Star Trek Into Darkness.
It was better than Into Darkness, is better than any of the remake Star Trek. But that's essentially because it was A New Hope with a new skin on it.
Also because he was only subverting and destroying just so many characters rather than all of them at once. Star Trek Into Darkness is one of the worst movies. It's Star Trek's Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker thrown together, mashed into one. He so didn't care. And in fact, when we do the ugly Star Trek movies this Saturday night on Saturday Night Star Trek at 9 p.m., I'm going to argue that Star Trek Beyond showed that if Simon Pegg had been left in charge, there was a chance for a recovery of some decency.
It's an interesting argument.
Well, here's the thing. Keeping in mind that the story was out of hand, I can make an argument, and I'll back it up more then, but the characters act correctly despite the stupidity of the movie in Star Trek Into Darkness. Like, Kirk is actually brave. Aside from like gay Sulu in that one moment, and Sulu acts like Sulu the rest of the movie, but I mean, that's fucked up. Chekhov is, his hero is Captain Kirk, and he looks up to Captain Kirk and he hangs out with Captain Kirk. That Sulu did a good job. All the actors in that cast were pretty decent. They actually go to a planet for the first fucking time of any note, right? I mean, they do it in a weird way. It's a rescue mission, but again, it's a rescue mission, like Starfleet rescuing people. It's like the right thing. Starfleet wasn't the problem. Do they play a fucking bunch of modern pop music again and make you hate the Beastie Boys? Yeah, that's on them. That's on them. But they do it. They do it. He tried. They
didn't need the help with hating the Beastie Boys.
Well, I mean, that actually is a good song until it gets to Star Trek. But the thing is, as we look into the world of J.J. Abrams, and he leaves Star Trek over the fact that he can't get the merch because the box office is good for his two movies. The second movie has like the biggest second and third week drop off, I think, in Star Trek history because people just wanted nothing to do with it. And with movie 3, people were so frustrated from movie 2 that no one wanted to see it at all. And JJ had been really good at staying one step ahead of the sort of Damocles. With Lost, he had moved on to Star Trek before Lost imploded, and it showed a lack of concern about how to end it. Hello, Jerry Lehane. He showed a lack of concern about ending the story correctly in Lost. He didn't care. It was an interpretive dream in an angel's head. What did we watch? all those years of Lost? I mean, not that you bothered or I bothered, but like, why did people watch Lost if it was an interpretive dream?
Is that how Lost ended?
I believe that what they did was they did a typical bad robot secret hideout move. They rewound all events of all seasons and everything that happened, everything. They went back to the very first moments of episode 1. They blew the plane apart again, and everyone falls to their death. And what happened in their minds was the cope. The story was in their minds. They were coping with what was happening. There was time dilation because they were falling. They knew they weren't going to survive, and they started hallucinating a tale of what happened if they did. By the way, they didn't confirm that until it was all over what was then called AOL that became the internet. Remember when they always called the internet AOL? As though there was nothing else?
For a while there wasn't.
Well, they convinced everybody pretty good, and they knew it couldn't last, that people shouldn't go outside the walls of AOL because it was just wild and dangerous, and they threw all these warnings at you, and we didn't know any better, while also getting you to give them all your information. They were so big that I think that second Lord of the Rings movie has a Time Warner company in there, AOL, a Time Warner company, in after the New Line logo. And by the time the third one comes out, I think it's gone. That's how short their moment of influence is. But for a while there, guys, everyone paid them $30 a month to go on in the internet and got a phone line on top of it. So they claw back the purchase price with the take, but they have to make the movies, and you're talking $200-300 million each. These weren't cheaply made movies, although the money didn't show up on screen quite as great as we wanted it to. And I still haven't seen Shrubby, so I feel terrible. There'll be an intense speculation over Kennedy's successor. Most assume Dave Filoni will take over. They're calling him George Lucas's protege. Germ. What do you think of that?
That's accurate. He was the guy who was supposed to take over until he gave that token job to KK and was under the impression she'd be fired in 30 days.
I don't know about that. Let's take a look at something quick.
Do you want the Star Wars trilogy and the mythology to go beyond your lifetime?
No. 3 will be the last film, and it'll be a 6-part series, and that'll be the end of it.
Incorrect.
You're not mentoring someone to take over for you?
No, it's
Automatic defense.
All right, there you have it. He never intended it to go forward. When he was making episode 3, he was like, it's done. No. Dave Filoni was thrown that title by Disney. George Lucas has never acknowledged it that I know of. Specifically said no right there. That is from, it's set in time. It's from right before the release of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, and Clone Wars, that takes a couple years to get out of the gate.
I still don't think he intended it to go forward. He said there may be a home for it in other mediums. Television. Like that was just, yeah. But what he said, but he didn't say that there was any successor. So, like, I guess protege, yes.
Filoni didn't work
no.
for him at that. Yeah, Filoni didn't work for him at that point.
Let's see. Okay, there will be intense speculation. All right, it may be too soon for Filoni at this stage. He lacks significant filmmaking experience. He has stumbled more heavily involved with The Mandalorian season 3 than with previous seasons, and that proved to be something of a misstep. I heard it was a horror story. Everybody said it sucked. Everyone said it was the same old terrible girl power bullshit.
A lot of the problems for Mandalorian season 3 I wouldn't put on him. I would put a lot of that on KK and the prima donna for saying he is going to quit every other day.
Which, like Pedro?
Yeah. Bo-Katan was only brought into that series is because Pedro swore he was going to quit every time he showed up.
It's really hard to understand how to work this one out in your mind because what he was saying is, unless I get to show my face and be more involved, I don't want to be part of the show, which seems like principled on the one hand, and on the other hand, could also be viewed as dumb because it's like you show up, you say a few lines in a studio, and every once a year for 1 minute, you put on the helmet, you take off the helmet in an episode. It's John Wayne's grandson who does most of the acting on The Mandalorian.
Yeah. But he understood going in that we're not showing your face. Get used to it. We'll add another zero to your check.
We're gonna very rarely show your face to show you're not a robot. Basically, was as much as he was told. You'll be around the set once a year. And by the way, that might have been to protect the male workers from Pedro.
Yeah, that was a big concern.
We don't know that, but I mean, speculating, I would just say, like Pedro, like we have seen him act wildly inappropriate at what's supposed to be some kind of family company, unless he was told go out there and blow apart our image. I don't know. I mean, sirs and madams, but Kathleen Kennedy, like the quartering says she's gone. Everyone is saying she's gone. There seems to be very little chance that she is going to be the president anymore. I just don't know, if she doesn't show up in a year with another T-shirt that says, like, I don't know, like, I'm with stupid with an arrow pointing up. I like, who knows? All we know is that allegedly the Kathleen Kennedy era is over. There's no true successor to Lucas, only a protege who was supposed to make cartoons, who did only just so well. I would say the things that we know about Dave Filoni are Ahsoka season 1 was such garbage that season 2 has been put off the release calendar for this year and has not been talked about again. I don't think there's anywhere to go. I think that Ahsoka's finished. What do you think? I mean, maybe she shows up in other shows, but as her own show.
Yeah, the show should be completely canned. I know even after the first season was released, Filoni had some bad things to say about it within his contract, at least. He can't outright and torpedo it, but apparently
he had some bad things to say about it in his contract. I'm a bit confused.
Not about his contract. Within it, he was as critical as he could be within the allowance of his contract.
Was he trying to say that he was somehow undermined with this scary good story? Because that story was stupid as shit.
He couldn't say that they took creative control away from him. He couldn't say that they changed details of the show. But he can't say any of that. But
any really horrible continuity errors that they may have changed quite a bit of Ahsoka. And by the way, I call the show Assholka. She was an asshole, and Rosario Dawson is probably a nice person, and I usually stick up for anybody from the New York area, but if you know you're going to play a sword-wielding character for 2 years, you take some fencing lessons. That was an embarrassment with her.
Oh, that's the funny part. She did.
What?
She prepared for about 7 months for that role, and when
that's
she
a
gets
lie.
on the set,
you're not lying to me. She lied to whoever told you that.
She prepared.
You're not deceiving me. She's talking
7 months.
Bullshit.
When they get there, the stunt coordination and everything. Oh yeah, this is how we want her to fight.
What are you saying? That they told her, look, you've got a viable fighting style that works, it looks good, but we've got a different idea. We want you to wave the sword around like a baseball bat. And we want you heaving for breath like an old woman and moving slowly and out of coordination and looking like you're getting we want this to look like he's helping you.
They had their own ideas of the way they wanted her fighting style to be, and that's about as much as she is willing to say.
She's lying to protect herself. Let me ask you a question. You and I are directing something. We have an idea of how our character is supposed to fight with a sword. Our actress comes in and says, in the 2 years since you've given me this job, I've spent more than a quarter of it preparing for the sword fights you're going to put me in. And her sword fighting style is different from ours. If it doesn't suck, don't we let her do it? Because right? It's like, wow, she's fast. She knows. All right, it's convincing. Like, even if it was just fencing, even if it was like, I don't know, like, we don't know. Now you're introducing the idea that she might have taken like 3 different kinds of like fencing lessons and known like samurai moves and some fucking like European dueling moves and incorporated them together and she might have come in because she's supposed to be a little bit of a dancer there. She came in as a club kid in the movie Kids and other stuff like that. She's supposed to be like able to be somewhat physical. She's not supposed to be like a cigar store Indian. It was like she was a cigar store Indian on wheels, Germ.
I was just say there's a lot of stuff about the production that she called a surprise.
Can you even summon up in your wildest imagination exactly what the hell she means by it wasn't what I had and it wasn't my vision of the character? And so what the hell does that, do you think she's lying?
Between the two, I'd trust her over any of the production team.
Well, the only person saying the reason I look like a terrible sword fighter is because they did it wrong. Everyone else was like, it was great.
Well, she is the one featured the most in that series, and of all the characters that come into live action from Rebels, Rosario Dawson's the only one who knew what this series was.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen them in S Hulka yet, at least not both of them. Have we seen 3PO and R2 in S Hulka? Because now that's their origin movie, right? That's the first time we see them, isn't it? They were S Hulka's droids.
No.
She kind of has them in Rebels. They're Bell's droids. That's right.
They're Bell's droids. They show up very limited in Rebels.
Sean, I'm much closer
totally
on this one. Thank you, Sean, for the generous $5 super chat. I missed Shrubby buying a bunch of memberships. Shrubby's back. Shrubby, thank God. Listen, Shrubby, I am so sorry that I was like 5 minutes late in acknowledging your really generous gift of 10 memberships to the channel. When I run Mars, like I try to ignore the Mars part of it, or you go insane. But it does keep YouTube happy. So I missed the notification. I just outright missed it, and I really am apologetic to you. I really do apologize, Shrubby. Thank you so much for bringing people into the circle. And now Sean gets his moment. We need an option 4 on the poll. Sir, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
How dare you?
Sir, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Sir, that was so controversial. Sir.
Thank you, Sean. You know what, Sean? Because of that, I think we need a little bit of Spock.
That was so controversial. Sir.
Sir.
Admiral Teag, please stop using copyrighted material.
Never! Everybody, welcome to Admiral Teague's Mars stream. There's life on Mars. Shrubby gave out a bunch of memberships. Sean with a very generous $5 super chat. You guys are the best. And by the way, I want to thank my community for its generosity. It was very, very difference-making last month. Life would not have been very good without the channel and the channel members and the memberships and the chats. Very, very, very appreciated. You guys really are the best. I try to do my best job for you, bring you the best Star Trek show I can. And with this one, I mean, we had some Star Trek news about SFA and stuff like that, but this Kathleen Kennedy story, it's just sort of front and center. We'll have time. I mean, we're only 3/4 of the way through the first half of our show. We have 5 quarters of the show left, correct, Jerm? By that measure.
Yeah, sounds like New York math to me.
Oh, you know what, Jerm? You're just not embracing the warmth of collectivism. I'm just.
I have a similar mayor to you now, so I'm going down that same shit pipeline.
If he's just left alone to his own devices to keep saying all these stupid things that he says, sirs and madams, and he's just not, reined in and given some kind of course in public speaking where you don't say fucked up anti-American things as the mayor of America's biggest city. If you give him 20 weeks without an assist, and what do I mean as an assist? If a national person from Team Red starts coming after him and he starts like doing okay, fighting back verbally, people will just back him because he's like the mayor and because he's fighting, right? Like people will back him just for that. If left to his own devices, everything I've heard from this guy, he has some of the worst ideas I have ever heard in my life and some of the stupidest things I've ever heard from any person in my entire life. And I think in about 20 weeks, you're going to see a cratering of support. Give it till baseball fucking opening day on this one. Trust me, folks. Trust me. And that has nothing to do with Star Wars. So getting back to the real world of entertainment here, I thank Sean. And you know what? Just one more time. We got to let the president.
Sir, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Tell me before you saw the video for that, Jerm, you didn't know exactly his face and expression when he did it.
Oh yeah, originally.
Oh, you remembered it from when you saw it.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it about the Benghazi documents? Or that was the proof of Obamagate? Sure. It was proof of that Obama spied on him, right?
I'm not sure about what it is about originally.
Right. Okay. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Anyway, thank you so much, Sean. And thank you so much, Shrubby. We got a great community here. Well, the Star Wars story is not that hard to augur. She is done on her own terms, but may not be gone. Everybody's saying it. I've learned with this one, she has to be like walking out the door with a cardboard box, escorted by fucking security before I believe this one, or in a parade in downtown USA, on Main Street USA, on a float with like thank you and goodbye written on the float before I really believe this one. Predicting that Kathleen Kennedy was finished after seeing tangible proof she is finished has been unreasonably held against how many people? There is no reason. The reason why these rumors have been so persistent is because there is no reason that she should be here. You know what, Jerm? Is it people leaning or people leering?
People leering, unfortunately.
They left that hard R in there, huh? Unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah, about that, a lot of us over the time that this whole like change has been going on, there's been like a sea change going on since Star Wars was bought by Disney. When Star Wars was bought by Disney, it looked like Obama style politics would be around forever. And to be quite honest, it would have lasted a lot longer if they didn't start like really messing with it. Like, so what happens? Hillary shows up. She's got some wild ideas that have everyone saying, if we do that, we'll all be at each other's throats with like cell phones trying to get people to say things that get them locked up in jail. That sounds like a really intolerant world. I don't know about that. I'm going to vote for this dark horse guy despite his scandals. And it was a surprise that Trump won that election. People took a couple of days to process it. A lot of us never came to terms with it for the whole first term. You know what I celebrated today, Jerm?
What's that?
This 5 years ago today was the first day that I made a conscious decision and stopped posting my political views on social media for all time. You know what went through my mind? No matter what happened on this day, it's tragic. I should shut the fuck up. I don't have the gravitas. I don't possess the personal gravitas to speak to it. And you know what? Like half of anybody talking about this one's going to be wrong. And we'll all have a chance to be right and wrong in the way things go these days. So I'm not saying don't say your feelings or your opinions. Go ahead and post what you want. But for me personally, I just figured it wasn't worth it. I wasn't going to just put my opinion or my feelings. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't, because having stuck to that oath, I have been able to slowly change and realign a lot, not everything, but a lot of what I was wrong about. Let's just say the people who were out there putting things over on people were pretty good at putting things over on people, weren't they, Jerm? That was a pretty good scam they had going there.
People, yeah.
Well, the Obama outlook for America was just a George W. Bush outlook for America unchanged, right? I mean, they weren't selling anything new. This was like, hey, we got your status quo for you right here. We just, we have a president who looks a little bit different. And then,
George W. Bush was a tan.
He was Black Bush. He really was. All right, listen, that's as close to the future as we like to get it. We just mentioned a name you have never heard me speak before. Why? Because another year has passed, and even though I'm not going to talk about him a lot, Obama was president for 2 terms, and he is now, like, the first term is getting close to being 20 years ago. It's a real long time for term 1 Obama. We're getting close to real far away from it, and he's starting to belong to history, and we can talk about him without politicizing things all that much. Bill Clinton should be able to be talked about without political repercussions, but his wife is such a whack job that the fact that he is mostly still reasonable when he talks gets lost. Did you see, like, he made a lot of statements that just made sense about whose flag should fly over the central non-West?
The last thing I heard him say that had any coherence to it was that, why haven't they brought the McRib back?
That too. Well, I mean, every once in a while. The thing is, we got now, it's a new year. We can move a little bit further into the past of what was considered, history. We're not going to get deep into it. George W. Bush is still more or less a line in the sand for where history starts or ends and, news begins. Anything after that, a little too current, and it stirs things up. But this idea, this Kathleen Kennedy idea, this is the height of the Obama era. Arrogance of ultra left. They're getting really comfortable. They think they have an ultra left president. I would say that history's going to remember him as sort of like a left centrist. What do you think, Jerm? Gay marriage no longer seen as the firebrand issue anymore. Like, what's his signature
Give
thing?
it time. His signature thing is the ACA, which is quickly becoming bankruptcy.
Here's the problem. Both sides ran on a different version of the same bill. Healthcare was the promised healthcare by both sides, from both sides, central tenet of 5 straight elections. We can't say that he was wrong to do it. And, we have to blame the author, Mitt Romney, of that particular type of healthcare. So,
the author was not Mitt Romney. The author was...
it was filtered from the Romney idea for Massachusetts, filtered through the McCain campaign, and then adopted wholesale, word for word, by Obama because he had to get it through Congress.
It was literally written by United Health.
That's probably true, too. I would believe... Listen, I'm not defending it. I'm saying his signature achievement was something that was at the centerpiece of every election for about 4 or 5 elections. And Bill Clinton just managed to play a shell game for 8 years and kick the can on that shit, because that had been imminent since like the early 70s when the premiums start spiking and changing people's lives. I mean, if you just had most of that healthcare money back, sirs and madams, or those of you who live with uncertainty without it, life would just be better. So that was a central tenet to both sides for a long time. Radioactive is here, sir. So, this isn't even a story about Obama. What I'm saying is he's a lot less radical than people are thinking. He's a lot more of a centrist than people are thinking. Where his idea is bad, history will judge. It's starting to judge him as being like a subpar president and mediocre. He left office with high marks, and they've been going down ever since in popular perceptions. Historians no longer as kind to him. But this particular brand of feminism does date to his time in office. It's not directly associated with him. And I think it's probably more associated with the previous Democratic president's wife. I think Hillary Clinton, who is not really known to be a full-on intersectionalist in her own views, as far as I know, she's the one who sort of was seen as she's going to be the first female president, and people are just going to get used to it, and we're going to throw this Star Wars at you, and we'll tell you what to like, because that's how things are now.
Yeah, she is the Wicked Witch of the West.
Are we talking about Hillary, or are we talking about Kathleen?
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I understand what you meant by that answer. All right. And guys, tell me what you think. Who was more to blame on this one? Was it the Big H or was it KK? KK gets her own crazy ideas here during the administration of Obama. And while Obama is president, I can never say his name right. It's such a Star Trek name too. Zoran, like the Barack Obama and the Zoran Mamdani sound like either Star Trek characters or Star Trek species. Tell me I'm not right.
A little bit. He sounds more like a Adam Sandler character.
How about this? You ready? Sir, we're being hailed by the Obama. Their leader is the Zoran. I am Zoran, leader of the Obama. I mean, you can't see that kind of happening in TNG?
I can't hear his name without seeing a bad goatee on Adam Sandler and one of his worst movies, actually.
That movie was funnier than some of his other bad movies, but okay, we can argue about that one later. Thank you, Thomas Bacon, for your delicious story dated February 25th, 2025. How did they pull that one off? So that's how jaded this one is. We just read you last year's story about how she's gone, and the details aren't that much different. Let's double check this one with the Hollywood Reporter. And what are they going to say was her accomplishment? A lot of diversity. Okay, so she's still expected to step down. It's planned by the end of 22. It was already planned at the end of 2025. She clarified she wasn't fully retiring, just transitioning, as I had said. And what a great word for her. With potential successors like Filoni over creative leadership and Lin-Wyn Brennan. Let's find out who Lin-Wyn Brennan is. Okay, yeah, Lin-Wyn Brennan is a body positivity looking chick. Lin-Wyn Brennan might be an unfuckable. This is Lin-Wyn Brennan. There she is, Germ.
That is unfortunate.
That is the great Lin-Wyn Brennan, sirs and madams. Wow. What is she even? What? This is just a weird dichotomy of images here. All right, so whatever. On the Lucasfilm site, they're like, "Here she comes, Lin-Wyn Brennan," and then like it. I mean, doesn't it look like she was sourced off a clone of KK, or is that KK that we said? Who is this? Is this Lin-Wyn Brennan before she ate KK? Did they CGI her thin? Weird stuff. All right. Who knows? The Industrial Light and Magic thing probably we can't trust them to show us an actual accurate image. But wow, weird. Let's see what Lin-Wyn Brennan has in Wikipedia of all things. She is the president and general manager of Lucasfilm. CBE. What is that even? Most Excellent Order of the British Empire? Established 4th of June, 1917 by King George V, who created the order to recognize such persons, male or female, who have rendered or shall thereafter render important services to our empire. What the fuck?
It's basically a civilian award for public good.
I get that, but why does she have it?
Probably because she's not American.
Because she paid a lot of taxes in England or something like that? What did she like do something to like desabotage some kind of Doctor Who fucking special? All right, so she's a CBE. She was raised in Tenby in Wales. So see, she is from Wales. You said she was from England.
No real difference there.
Well, don't tell that to RRTNZ. Welshie will get very upset at us. By the way, did you see the picture that he sent me? How beautiful that was. Guys,
Yeah,
our friends RRTNZ is out there in England. And he sent me just an absolutely beautiful picture. It's a picture postcard. Let me see if I can find it. He really is just like, it was evocative of Tolkien and Dickens and other stuff like that. And I don't know why, but it's just a simple picture of like the English countryside covered in snow. But you know what? Thank you. I thought it was my computer, but like images are just in general failing to load on X, aren't they?
They might be. I haven't noticed.
While we talk about that, while we wonder about that, did you see Neural Derp made a new push today? He got his new video finished. That's out there. He's got his redneck Lord of the Rings. What did you think?
Pretty good.
It was funny. The song was pretty funny. Was it one does not simply borrow my stuff. It was another good song. He was right. It does seem to if you jump it off the song and work from there, you've got the best foundation. Making the video and then trying to create a song probably self-defeating. Neural Derp had a good new video. He also was pushing the Star Trek Vietnam, and I looked at both, and yeah, you can see the slight advancement in technology from one video to the next. Even though that one's beautiful, but the background a little bit more blurry. He's making a full court press. It'll be interesting to see what he does next, but wasn't it interesting to see someone approaching YouTube completely different from you and I? And you and I have completely different approaches to YouTube in the way we run our channels too. So you have your plan, I have my plan. There's some overlap in how we do it. Then there's Neural Derp, whose plan and business plan is unique from ours and doesn't include live streaming.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having a platform like this and other ones that aren't so uptight as YouTube.
We would never mean to say anything bad about the almighty algorithm. All hail the algorithm. My friend Landrew, send the lawgiver to stop Germ from blaspheming. No, you're right, but I do like that. Yeah, if you're camera shy and you don't want to go on here and you still want to do YouTube, there's still a method for you to do it and profit from it. He may have made more money in that one video going viral than I have ever accrued in my 3 years being monetized.
Very possible.
You have your plan. We have our plan. They have their plan. It's better for me. It's better for you. It's better for them. Them being the whales. As Bird of Prey 5 would always say. His plan was that he would get the funniest song parody he could from Sonos, or is it Soros, whatever it's called, and the best video that he could make with Banana Do. I don't even know.
That sounds close to
Bananarama. Well, I got to watch the interview again. He told us everything. One of the things about Neural Derp was he just told us everything about his plan. My plan is to make a video. My plan was to have it go viral. And then he was like, without having ever read the book, touching on things from George Lucas's film writing for everyone. Sean, when Nano Banana. There it is. Thank you, Miss Katonic knows what it was. And his iteration of it is great. He's saying now it's become even easier. Now he has to construct the scene. I don't know how long it takes him to construct the prompt. But when you asked him how long it took to render stuff, remember when he's like, sometimes as long as 90, or like you were ready for minutes, and he says seconds. How shocking was that one to you?
Not really, considering that's the final video. When he was making the segments of it, he was saying it took a couple hours.
It took a couple of hours to write the prompt. It only took a few seconds to render.
Yeah, a few seconds to render the final video. But he was doing multiple prompts and taking
right. He has to do.
Videos.
It took him a few days to make the video worth of man hours of labor. But what happened is with every scene, when he's got it together, when he's done writing the prompt, that prompt can generate in about a minute, and the whole video is able to make itself in about a minute. He makes it one scene at a time for quality control. And he admitted, yeah, I've had 6-fingered moments where I had to have people changed. And he also said, yeah, there's lack of continuity in some of my videos. There's one where someone lassos a beer and pulls it over, and when they grab it, there's a cap on it. When they go to drink it, it's gone. And some continuity stuff. Hey, what's going on? Good evening from the pentagram. You know what, Tony? It's nothing but black magic. You know what? You were told not to grow bigger. Now whatever happens is on you, sir. Did you see that Stark of Iron had the audacity to be 85 subscribers bigger ahead of me in subscriber count?
My condolences.
Yeah, you know what? Now Tony gets to be the point man and break the ice. Let's see how you do it. Remember, Tony, all Americans love a winner and cannot stand a loser. A community is a team. It live streams, fights, eats, sleeps, and memes as a team. 265 higher now. Way to go, Stark. And by the way, officially, this is now my position. Since sometime last night, an operation took place by which the view counts and the sub counts were rigged. And it's about time we talked to all 30,000 subscribers of Admiral Teag. Am I right, Jerm? We still have far more. Far more. We have some of the biggest numbers that you have ever seen in Star Trek and Star Trek. I like this one, so I'll highlight it. Hey, the Dead Man, good to see you. Yeah, and Stark of Iron worked hard for that one. We'll be there soon enough. I have a very specific kind of subscriber. Not everyone's cut out to be an Admiral Teag, viewer. You gotta want the long form content. You have to be ready to go through the various iterations of Paramount. After 2 years of nothing happening, things are starting to happen with regularity at Paramount. Over at Paramount, things looking a lot better, a lot faster for Star Trek than they are for Star Wars. It looks like Star Wars is going to be more sloppy mess for a while. What are we going to get this year? Last Starfighter? Isn't that already a movie? Right? Wasn't there a Last Starfighter movie in the 80s? I don't hear Germ.
Star Wars Starfighter.
There was a Last Starfighter.
That might
movie.
be at the end. Yeah, Last Starfighter, but this is just Star Wars Starfighter.
And we're getting like a supersized episode of Mando Grogu, right? Seems to be what it is. And folks, go to the landscape stream. It's pinned to the top of the vertical stream. It's the place to be. No ads. But yeah, it seems to be the way it is, huh?
Yeah. Officially, the only thing on schedule for this year is Mandalorian Grogu. Everything else may not make it to this year.
Hulka got kicked in like December from the release schedule. Apparently, they're not even going to try to make it until they sit down and think about it more. And I'm going to say right now, I declare Hulka dead. How about you? We're never going to see that show again. We'll see her again. The show's done. It'll be like 5 years before the next season of Hulka. If at all.
Well, everything. It depends on how Mandalorian and Grogu does.
And
If
remember,
that thing bombs, everything may be off the schedule.
well, that thing is going to bomb. The question is how hard. How hard does it bomb? My thought for Mandalorian and Grogu though is it could fluke its way into success. I've outlined this one before. I'll do it one more time for fun. Germ, I ask your indulgence on this one to assess the chances of it happening are not good, but you tell me that this isn't a real reality for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. They, as far as we know, indications are Gina Carano is mandated to be in this movie as Cara Dune, correct? Or they have to make a Cara Dune movie. And also, they got to hand her a season's worth of pay because they fucked her over. That goes without saying. The season's worth of pay seems undebatable, but she almost definitely has to be in any story that would continue with Cara Dune because she was supposed to be given a show.
The terms of the settlement were not public, but the rumor is that she was granted a settlement of money, and they were looking to get her back into a job.
And the one that makes the most sense would be the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, right?
That would make sense, yes.
Let me ask you something.
But they don't do stuff that makes sense.
Does anybody like Pedro Pascal anymore? Does anyone want to see the movie anymore?
Accountant.
His boyfriends. But you know what? Does anybody want to see Pedro Pascal on screen anymore? With that abuelo energy that he's got. He does not have that energy anymore. Sure, he's not that old of a guy, really, but like, is he like the oldest 54-year-old dude in the face of the earth or what?
It's not so much the years, it's the miles.
He doesn't look good. He was never a handsome guy. He did have some skill. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, no, he can't act at all. He can kind of act. If you watch, especially these days, a good movie to assess his talent in, watch Wonder Woman 1984. First of all, because it's a fucking blast. It's so stupid. It is so fucking stupid. But, like, the moments with Pedro, Jerm, did you see this terrible movie?
Unfortunately, yes, I did.
Tell me he wasn't okay as Max Lord, though.
He is okay for what they wanted Max Lord to be.
His performance wasn't the problem.
No.
He has the ability to act. We're not calling him a great actor. We're not advocating for him. All right. So Gina Carano, John the Beagle Dad, you're on the vertical feed. Go to the landscape feed. It's pinned to the top of the feed. Please save me, John the Beagle Dad. We need more concurrence over on the landscape feed. All right. So here's the deal. If Abuelo Pedro Pascal with the people energy says, I don't want to be in any scenes with Gina Carano. And they're like, this has caused an unfortunate problem that has had to reduce the amount of time Pedro will be in the movie. The movie's viability goes up, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Is Mary Stuart Mastrantonio, Mary Elizabeth, whatever, Mrs. Obi-Wan, his wife, the one with the nice ass, is she in that same time frame from Ass Holka? Would she logically be in would the Ass Holka people logically be? They're Mandoverse characters, right? The Ass Holka people are contemporary to Mando.
Yeah, they are in contemporary timelines. Most of the characters are pre-established, so I wouldn't call them Mandoverse characters.
I would say the main regret of Wonder Woman 1984 is that they didn't have the woman in the golden armor who I think they're alluding to, Linda Carter, be Linda Carter and let her be a mentor to the new Wonder Woman. It could have given the movie enough charm to get forgiven. But that woman was supposed to write like the Rogue Squad, was supposed to write and direct Rogue Squadron, and they were like, no way. After Wonder Woman 1984. Pedro Pascal is not a bad actor. He's just a lame person. The dead man just knocking it out of the park. Like, I've been putting it over the plate. That's the deal. So here's the thing. If he says, look, sirs, madams, I don't want to do this. Now, I would say if the writers are like, we're going to expand Gina's part in this movie a little bit, people start talking That's called a buzz, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Now,
at this point, it would have happened by now.
not really, because we haven't tried to make this thing yet. I don't think they're filming yet. I really don't think they're
It
filming
comes
yet.
out this year.
It does come out this year, but we've seen that they are not very responsible, and they will be filming a movie while they're still making it. Doomsday is coming out this year. That's not even near done yet either. So, I mean, a lot riding on the end of the year here, but I think they're going to slap together and throw out the Mandalorian movie, accepting it's a failure, hoping that it builds buzz for the Rey movie, which it won't. And really, these Star Wars movies are going to come down to who wants to go on with the least characters. And by I don't mean Least, I mean Leased. No one's going to lease ass Hulka. You're just going to make up your own character, because I hear they're licensing out Star Wars now. They're going to try to save the MCU and keep it for themselves, and do that with the message, with a lighter touch on it, and see if they can't sneak that out there. And I hear they're giving up on Star Wars, and that's going to be leased out. So, like, you really could get a movie from Zack Snyder in the Star Wars universe, which, oh God. I mean, anyone still sticking with it at this point kind of deserves that, but God. But as Hulka, she's their character. She's a character you would have to lease off her. So is Rey. So they're the ones who would have to push Rey. So in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which I think is a megasode, which I think can be filmed in 10 weeks or less, and a story that's been sitting around, dusted off, and no one cares about, what if what happens next is some of the ass Hulka people don't want to? Hey, Kimberly, people are pretty sure. It's looking pretty sure. If the next person in the ass Hulka series was to say, like, all the ass Hulka people don't want to be in the Mando and Grogu movie because of Gina Carano being like, not woke enough and beep bop boop and all that. You know what? It is overdue. I don't think she's all that done either. I think she's still going to be, as to paraphrase Rise of Skywalker Leia, always in the shadows. Hey, Roman's here. Roman, today is a great day. Your oppressor has been vanquished, they say. Do you believe it? And do you want to jump on and comment on it? We have like 40 minutes left. I'm curious. Do you believe it, Roman? I think that the Mando movie could fluke its way to success if people who are unpopular that we don't want to see, like Pedro, like the ass Hulka people, like Rosario Dawson, if they don't do the movie because she's in it, or want to be, or do not want to be on screen with her, you could see this accidentally growing into a Cara Dune and Grogu movie, or Cara Dune in the Mandalorian movie, because all he has to do is voice stuff.
Well, technically, he doesn't even need to do that.
They could probably do a synthesized version of his voice by now, too. He signed something that said they could do it. You haven't seen it yet? It's hitting most of the major trades. Puck Magazine had it first. That's one of the oldest trades. You don't believe it. I certainly would like it to be true, but can't hop in tonight. Sorry, my friend. Okay, no problem, but I am glad that we got your opinion. Roman of the Empire is a great guy who does do Star Wars and is a reliable Star Wars source and a friend of the channel. Over on the vertical feed, guys, hi. I think pinned to the top is the horizontal feed. You could go over there to jump on over, and you can see me on the horizontal on the landscape feed, which is the feed of record. Let's put it to you that way. Everyone is right to doubt this one. This one has had lasting hangovers on people's careers, say that she's going to go away. Always in motion is the future. Yeah, quote a better movie. Good point. I don't know if it's going to make a big difference in their message or anything either. Germ, Kathleen Kennedy gone. How gone do you think she is, really?
At the moment, not at all. But when she goes, it'll be total.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to have a slow exit. I think like one day we'll just notice she hasn't been around for a while is the way it's going to happen. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Star Trek a little bit. Jeremy and I, on September 26th of 2024, many months ago now, said that we would probably start to find out that the end had come for Star Trek creator Alex Kurtzman, as a Star Trek creator, by about now that it would start being told to us, that they would not give us any hint until now, and that about now they would start being a little more open about it. Germ, have you noticed in the last few weeks they've started to be a little more open about it?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Have you noticed that if we had pounded away every day 2 years ago saying he's gone this week, we could have gotten a lot of views, couldn't we? With low effort videos of us sitting there just saying it, right? We could have turned this background on and ranted, he's gone, couldn't we? And we would have had stuff to go on too.
Some, yes.
So what I'm saying to my friends out there is, guys, I will not jerk you around with fake news. The Star Trek United update video has been late because there's been one development after another in the last 2 weeks. There's been no point in making the video until there's something to tell you. Now there's a few things to tell you, and then a couple of things got layered back on top. We're seeing a PR move for Star Trek United we'll talk about later. But as far as the Kurtzman stuff, okay, so it's all dead on arrival. They're not making anymore. And Tachyon Pulse, who is a major source who gets cited all the time, says that they have to clear out of their studio and can't make anything else after no more filming. January 31st is the end, no matter what. That doesn't mean they can't go somewhere and turn on a camera. They got to get off the Paramount properties. And also, no more money for you. Goodbye, sir, to Kurtzman. And you're a little bit of Star Trek. Maybe you want to sell that back to us, sir. And no one else is getting their hands on this bad stuff, and you can't announce anymore. That's what Tachyon told us. And that tracks with what we thought would be being said at about this time anyway, doesn't it? So what we're saying is what Tachyon confirmed to us as his view here was our view 2 years ago and foreseeable, correct?
Yes.
Very foreseeable for the last 27 months that we've been saying it.
Very foreseeable.
We did not want to get the sugar high of destroying our rep. How long Trek will rest before they bring it back? I think the movie will have to be late, not to come out in late 2026. I think they want to reboot the movie franchise. I believe that they can walk and chew gum at the same time as their outlook on this one, Roman. And Roman, hey, look, I've got my Yankee hat on. It is impossible to make it look symmetrical. I have to turn my head just so. All right, now it's symmetrical. Fuck it, it's not going to look symmetrical. You know what? I think that they want to do this as quickly as possible. I think that they believe that they have proved that Star Trek is enduring. I think things like Star Trek United catching fire the way it has. Yeah, Roman thinks so as well. You know, oh, very controversial, sir. Me too. As a Star Trek guy, you know what? I want to see your special on the impregnation of Anakin's mother called Shmi 2. Shmi 2. How Palpatine did it. And I think we all know that's a test tube, baby. Would Palpatine ever have sex with a woman, Germ?
That's a disgusting image.
But I mean, Palpatine, women.
Yeah. At Living Wrinkle, that's too much to think about.
Also, like Ian McDiarmid does not come across as the most hetero guy. Although he is a great, I mean, no one could have done the Emperor like him, but the fact that he's not in anything else after being in 3 of the biggest grossing movies of all time, and then or 2 of the biggest grossing movies of all time, expanded to 5 of the biggest grossing movies of all time. And the only other movie he's in is in Sleepy Hollow, and he dies real quick. We have to admit the Emperor can only give a certain kind of performance. And by the way, don't blame him. He doesn't have acting lessons. He's never gone to acting school that I know of. He's a voice actor. That's why he's usually sitting down. But in Star Trek, what looks like is going on is Alex Kurtzman was allowed to announce stuff. He announced as much as he could. He put all his eggs in one basket. And he's trying to keep as much as he can for young adult novels and comic books. What really looks like is happening is on the small screen, it will be United because they'll age out of any litigation with him by keeping it to something that he can't litigate Star Trek United because it's a sequel to Enterprise, which is still a prequel to him. So it can't have any connection to him, and there won't be any implied or begged off. Germ, your thoughts on that one? The safe nature of it.
What was that again?
As far as Star Trek United, it's the safest move on the small screen, probably. The movie, we don't know too much about. The Star Trek United on the small screen, a very safe move, because if you do Star Trek United with a series of movies or 2 streamers for 2 years, you've gotten that much further away from Alex Kurtzman, who cannot litigate against Star Trek United because it's a sequel to Enterprise and a prequel which involves none of his characters nor any implications of his lore. They would have to go out of their way to use something from Alex Kurtzman with the temporal Cold War, and they're not going to do it. They don't want to bring in him and his 25 producers.
The safe bet is probably a streaming movie.
For what? For United?
For United.
That would be what you're saying. The safe bet is not the most likely, but the best bet for a satisfying experience for Star Trek fans. And I agree. And I firmly and strongly believe that a good streaming movie, you know what? If we found out that that 3 times next year there'll be a 90-minute Star Trek Enterprise sequel movie, that will be 3 90-minute movies, and that's what we get, the equivalent of 9 shows. That would keep me watching Paramount Plus. It doesn't have to be 10 episodes in a row. Let them do what they did in Enterprise season 4, and it'll be fine. 90-minute movies every 3 months. That's a reason to keep Paramount Plus. Am I right?
Yeah, it would be.
You know what? Month after next, there'll be another Star Trek movie. I'll just watch old Star Trek for a little while. That got me. If you refresh people's enjoyment of it once in a while, 3 times, you know what? Honestly, it's not so great, but imagine Stormfront drops now, just the Stormfront 2 parts, not the Xindi War stuff, but if just Stormfront came out of nowhere as a standalone Star Trek story, people would be calling it the best Star Trek in 20 years. And they'd be right, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And Stormfront is mediocre. You actually hate Stormfront, don't you?
Very much so.
What is it that you hate about that?
The time travel aspect, the
fact that both
overall story
time is stupid, but Star Trek consistent. Although they don't invoke it.
It's just not well done on any front.
No, it's not. It's a chaotic front, the Storm front. Neither of us deeply approve of it. Guys, again, if you're on the vertical stream, the landscape stream has no ads and the full experience. We're talking Star Trek now. The Star Trek movie, and hello, great Saming Ohan. I want to thank you for subscribing to the channel and for leaving the comment. Thank you. I do like Star Wars as well. Yes, hashtag Shmi too. And yeah, I did, by the way, that is a stolen EFAP joke. They said that in, I think they were talking about, I think I heard it when Rise of Skywalker came out. Rise of Skywalker, the first movie by Star Wars that I didn't see in theaters. I was young enough to see A New Hope. I was only about 80 when New Hope came out. I barely made it to the theater. My great-grandkids took me. I used my Civil War pension to go. But no, it was absolutely thank you so much for the comment, and thanks for joining the channel. I like 4 through 6 and Rogue One and Clone Wars. That's it. Clone Wars 2D better than Clone Wars 3D, but yeah, I agree. I like episode 4 the best. No, I'm sorry. I like episode 3 the best. My favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith, and I know that that's blasphemy.
No, that's an acceptable one.
It is the best Star Wars movie. It is so the tale of Darth Plagueis, Palpatine pulling all the strings, the fact that it's being revealed, all the payoff, so much payoff from my whole life. Payoff. You know, I was a first grader when I first heard that fucking story about Obi-Wan getting thrown into the into the volcano, or maybe a second grader. I was 7 when Star Wars came out. That story about Obi-Wan throwing Vader into a volcano, that was the original iteration of the story. That goes back to like pre-Splinter of the Mind's Eye, when George Lucas starts going out there and explaining himself. Yeah, it was just called Star Wars. Yeah. This Clone Wars series was where something else. Mine is Jedi. The Return of the Jedi was Anakin, not Luke. I like Return of the Jedi. Let me see if I can get if I can make sense a sensible answer for you. Return of the Jedi actually has some of the greatest scenes in the entire OT. It's just that it also has some of the ones that are a little bit questionable. None of the scenes that are ridiculous are so bad in context of the way they were in the original release of the movie that they were horrible. In the new updated versions, everything looks worse and it lost what it had. The re-release of Return of the Jedi will be much anticipated. I look forward to seeing that movie unspecialized. What do you think, Jerm?
Just as long as they get that little teddy bear off of Leia's leg.
It's a little bit dumb, but let me ask you this. How much less terrible was it before they touched it up as far as the watchability?
Well, in the original version, you can see parts where when he's grabbing onto Leia's leg, he's behaving sort of like a puppy dog.
All right, I'm going to take a slight disagreement with Roman here. Roman, let's find time to get together, like, on our own schedule and have a Star Wars, Star Trek State of the Union again. We got to get together. We can't get the whole crew together. Let's get you and I together on this one. But Roman, he says that he doesn't like whiny Anakin. I agree. I don't like whiny Anakin either. Although I think the end of whiny Anakin is crying to Padme about what he did to the Sand People. Remember what you told me about your mother and the Sand People? I think that's the end of whiny Anakin. He might whine through the rest of that movie, but like the last act of Attack of the Clones is good, in my opinion. I want your thoughts on those two ideas. That the final act is good, and that whiny Anakin isn't in Revenge of the Sith. It's raging Anakin. He's still acting like a man baby, but he's raging. He's not whining anymore. He's something.
No,
he's complaining. It's not whining though. He's proactively changing shit.
He does plenty of whining.
The no didn't help. In Sith, you think so?
Yes.
He's simping for Padme. That doesn't really count as whining. He's in love. Who's he whining to?
He is whining
the meltdown in the council chamber?
He is whining to Obi-Wan. He is whining to the Chancellor. He is whining to Padme.
I agree with this. Clone Wars Anakin is better than the film versions. The thing is that I do think Hayden Christensen gives George Lucas the performance that he asked for. And Hayden Christensen got a lifetime's worth of money to be in that because it was going to wreck a lifetime's worth of his career. He's a better actor than he is in Star Wars and in Disney Star Wars. In other movies, he's good. I mean, I don't really particularly like the Rian Johnson movie he's in, but he's good in Looper. He's a good actor. That weird movie he's in with Samuel L. Jackson, that movie is pretty good. It's a little too weird to see them as enemies again so soon, but that movie's good. That's the one called like Looper or Blooper or whatever? Jumper. Sorry, Looper's Bruce Willis, right? Is that Rian Johnson?
Right. Looper is...
You get sent back in time, and he's supposed to.
Yeah.
You get killed in the past, so that you disappear from the future, and there's no trail.
Yeah.
Yes, the silent. And you know what? Someone mentioned this today. I think it. And Germ has to split.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out. Germ is splitting. Let me ask Germ, what are you doing this week?
Tomorrow we should have the Random Rant Roundtable, and then we'll be back for Landman on Sunday.
I don't know what to do without you here.
Spock!
So, I guess Gorilla's waiting?
No, I have something else to do.
All right, my friend, be good, and I loved streaming with you. I'll see you soon, and this Saturday is the Ugly movies. You going to rewatch any of them?
I'm going to try not to.
How about if I asked you to watch only one? How about you watch just
one.
the one you... How about Beyond? You can watch Beyond. It's not a JJ movie.
That I can manage.
All right. You're the expert on Beyond. Is that fair enough?
All right.
Guys, say goodnight to our friend Resolute Germ. Sub to his channel. It's on my homepage, and his link is in the description to this, where I have his name in there because he is a valuable and amazing co-host. Goodbye, buddy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night to Resolute Germ, everybody. Our pal the Germ has split. Let's see. Your copy has options for both. I only watched the theater version. That's the way to go. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Dreadful dialogue. I didn't mind that moment so much. I thought that was paying off the previous dialogue. I mean, things like hyperventilating to Padme, like, I don't care. I don't that you have a case for. I'm not saying that he was like dignified Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. However, he doesn't whine in the early part of the movie. He doesn't start whining until he runs into Padme. His whole thing there, buzzkill droids, and this is where the fun begins. I had enthusiasm. Tell me you don't have fun. But he says this is where the fun begins. You don't have a little bit of enthusiasm for where Anakin's going with that. So I did enjoy Hayden Christensen's performance in Revenge of the Sith. I also, and Roman knows this, George Lucas will not let you use any method acting. He is completely and totally opposed to method acting. George tells you no, faster, more intensity. He never says slower, more emotion. There's a reason that we see that. And everybody say goodnight to Jerm. Hayden Christensen was good on Asshole. I liked Jumper. Jumper wasn't a bad movie at all. He was good in Asshole. The problem with that with Asshole was in his scenes. One, they weren't willing to pay the money to the people who created it to call it the world between worlds, so it's just implied it could be anywhere. I thought that was a low, cheap road out to member bury without fully member burying and not being willing to, pay. It's just a member bury. Give the guy his 10 grand for the fucking idea, the world between worlds or whatever. Jeez. But, and also then her sword fighting, if they changed her from having a viable style to being that bad, they say she moved like she was 60. Bullshit. I've seen a lot of 60-year-old people moving much more limber than her. She moved closer to 75, 80. The only person who's really she moved like Samuel L. Jackson's movements are now starting to show age when he walks around. He's kind of humping around and it looks like it's kind of rough for him to throw one leg in front of the other. And maybe he's got a bad knee or a bad hip. And does anybody want secret fucking war? No one cares about that. The MCU's not exactly cranking stuff out either. Looper sucked. Joseph Go Lovitz. Yeah, Looper's the one with Bruce Willis. And, as Christmas passes, take a moment and think about our pal Bruce Willis and all the great times he brought to us. He was such a great actor. He's in so many great movies. Thank God we'll always have The Fifth Element. What happened, losing him the way we did, he's still with us. Don't get me wrong. Mr. Willis is alive, but the aphasia, the inability to communicate with us, the inability for us to know that he appreciates him, this is not an uncommon thing to happen to people. It was bound to happen to a celebrity sooner or later. It's just that so many of us have this in our families and in our lives. So to see it happen to someone that we love and we watched on screen for 20 years, I'm sorry if I feel a little emotional here, but you know what? We all loved Bruce Willis. Let's just leave it at that. And Jerm has checked out, as we said. And yeah, Ahsoka. Yeah, I put an L in there. I spell it Ahsholeka. Assholeka. The E can be dropped, but it's Assholeka. I mean, is there anybody who's more of an asshole than Assholeka? It's not Rosario Dawson's fault in the part where her delivery is terrible through everything. That is on Dave Filoni for that dialogue. Like, she talks in riddles. This would work if the riddles had any profundity. These riddles are like fortune cookie logic riddles. They are so fucking bad. They are so fucking bad. Everyone loves Fifth Element. It's so great. And by the way, I love to see Future New York. That was fucking awesome. And President Tiny Listed from Friday. You know what? There'll be a week where the Saving Star Trek crew steps away from Star Trek. We do it every once in a while. We've stayed Star Trek adjacent. One of these days, we'll do something fucking nuts, like Vex Electronica and the people over on fucking B-Sub did like Twilight. We'll do something nuts. Although this week, it is a little bit nuts. This week on Saving Star Trek, we're not actually, it's Star Trek in name only. We're doing, and we didn't do it for TV because let's face it, we've done it in real time. It's so bad. We're going to cover The Ugly. We have done 3 different retrospectives on the movies over the last 4 weeks. What we did was we started with the TV show. We did all the TV shows up to 05. Then we went to the TV shows up to we went to the TV shows up to 05. Then we did movies 1 through 6 the next week. That was a great discussion, especially a lot of love for movie 5, more than we thought. Then we had next week is The Ugly. We're going to do the Kelvin movies. It's Star Trek 11, 12, and 13. I had a great several-hour conversation with my drummer, Matt, about TOS, discussing the dynamic relationships of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. And the greatest of all time, Scotty, it was a rabbit hole. Yeah, you know what? Your drummer's a fucking awesome drummer, by the way. I loved watching your performance, and Roman's SoundCloud's pretty good, too. He can play. Plays that bass pretty darn good, and he has nice was that like it's been a moment since I saw it. Was it black on black Telecaster bass, right? Was it a black on black? It had the Telecaster headstock, but it was a precision, right? You had something going on there. It was a nice instrument. I forget what it was. The real Ahsoka is direct. Someone thinks fiddles automatically makes one profound. Sometimes it's just annoying. They messed around a lot with Ahsoka. They did do a good job, and remember, George is still there, telling him, dial back the Ahsoka a little bit. We need her to be at like 15% of the episode and like maybe 5% of the dialogue. Let's keep the focus on Luke, and stuff like that. Let's keep the focus on our character here, Anakin. Let's keep the focus on our hero, Obi-Wan. That's not the deal anymore. Now those terrible, Riddles dang autocorrupt. She speaks in all black Fender hybrid precision jazz master bass. That's what it is. Now, does it have the Telecaster style bass headstock, or does it have the regular bass headstock? I have a precision. I'm sorry. I have a jazz bass. I have the J. I play a J bass when I play bass. I just like it better. It's a little more comfortable for my hands and my style. And also less people have it. That's the reason why I have a Telecaster instead of a Stratocaster. But I have a 72 reissue Telecaster with hot pickups. Anyway, back to Star Trek. The Star Trek United idea, that cleared several hurdles. We've explained them here a couple of times. They have new people coming in, and the movie, they say they want it out this year. That would imply that they hurry up all the Kurtzman stuff. And they could. I don't think their obligation with him lasts longer than this year. Now, I had asked the Tachyon Pulse, are they obligated to show what they buy from Kurtzman? Now, he didn't know this, but this is what Tom Connors told me, and all indications point that it's true. Kurtzman has the right to make Star Trek, and they have first look an option to buy always since day one. Okay. The Netflix people were in on this. They were able to contribute financially, and they made up the majority of the budget, with CBS just being generous with the rights. It went sour with Netflix, and some of that was out in the open before they got it to arbitration. Tachyon Pulse stunned to find out that American arbitration involves going to a back room and cutting a deal very, very quietly so that no one knows. Hollywood doesn't want their secrets out there. When they stole the video game, that was more public. That was more of a big deal. Your lunch is over. We'll re-listen when I'm off tonight. No work tomorrow. Night all. Good night to you. And there won't be a whole lot left because we're going to keep it to 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes tonight. Keep it a consumable podcast. I appreciate very much that you spent your lunch with me, sir. I hope I entertained you, and I hope that the rest of your workday goes by, briefly and pleasantly. May you have a profitable rest of your day. Where are you in the world? Still working at, it would be 8 o'clock in California, I guess. But hey, you know what? Maybe you're in New York, the city that never sleeps. I just know that I really, really do thank everyone who listened. And look at this community. Everybody say goodnight to each other. It's very friendly tonight. I don't believe in going on without a script. I don't believe in going on without bullet points. Tonight's bullet points were the Alex Kurtzman Star Trek United, and Starfleet Academy was the last one. Starfleet Academy, I don't know if Sean's still in the chat. You might be. But he had talked about us watching it. Now, this may even have dropped, or it's dropping like on Sunday. Now, if this drops on Sunday, we might just go right from Saving Star Trek to my other channel to watch it drop live and do a watch party. And we might lose our fucking minds. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to handle Star Trek Academy. There needs to be a serious talk among the members of the channel about how to handle this one. Because this week, between the Kelvinverse movies, and they are ugly, and the dropping of the new Trek, it's going to be tough. But guys, I got good news for you. What was ours before will be ours again. These are the last coon places. I am Admiral Teag. I am here to lead us to Earth, our most guarded, precious military secret. I know where it is. I know how to find it. I can lead us through this terrible, terrible patch, this briar patch, out of this Delta Quadrant for Star Trek fans. I have never lowered the banner of United Federation of Planets in the 4 years I've been on YouTube, stumping that we can save Star Trek. Finally, some real signs that Star Trek may be coming back to life, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. Real Star Trek has to kill off Skinwalker Star Trek to survive. Now, the smartest moves have been done. The Kurtzman stuff was so bad, not only because he's talentless, but listen to me on this one. If you make brand-destroying Star Trek that is so bad that no one can let someone else, that you can't let anyone else have it, that is a form of legal extortion, in my opinion. And I am alleging that he gave them a Star Trek product so bad that they had to go raise the money that he demanded to pay his fee just so someone else couldn't have it. Because with Star Trek Prodigy, it was finished, the production was over, the production was disbanded, no one was around, the cast was gone, there were no more contracts. You're in Moab, Utah, work at the Cowboys and Indians Trading Company. Swing on by, people, if you're in the area. Guys, if you're in the area of Moab, Utah, go by there. I would love to go to Utah. Our friend, the Ginger Menace, was from there. And you know what? I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy. I hope work, like I said, goes by fast. And I hope that we entertained you. It was really important for me to come here and be the most entertaining Star Trek guy I can be. And I had Germ here with me. It makes it a lot easier. But let's round up. Let's tie up the Star Trek thing in a bow. The movie. All right, the movie, people, they're hit or miss. Their best movie is the new Spider-Man related stuff. I too am a ginger. There are a lot of you there. All right. Hey, you know what? My father had red hair, man, who raised me. My dad, he was a red-haired, blue-eyed New York City cop, and he was one of the best people, the best person I've ever met in my life. So I have a soft spot in my heart for everyone with red hair. I love all you gingers. You guys, you're the fucking best. You are the fucking best. I love you guys. I would die. You know what? I'm going to dye my hair red when I get to 10,000 subs. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dye my hair red when I get to 10,000 subs. What do you think of that? All right. Good night. And it was good to talk to you, Gohan. Thank you so much for gracing the program with your comments and being part of a great show. And everybody hit those like and follow buttons. The goal is always to get 30 on the live stream. It really helps. It gives us an analytical push. And you know what? We'll keep going with the breaking Star Trek news. Sussman cleared a couple of hurdles. He's schmoozing, but not really getting in too deep with Mary Trump. He kept his Mary Trump in count. Mary Trump has a Star Trek show. Why? I don't know. Sometimes it's okay. She has a lore expert and she's seen some Star Trek. She's got an outside idea what's going on. All right. A lot of times she just shuts up and lets the lore expert talk. There's 3 styles of Star Trek show. Okay. The first one is just to sell the channel and make it believable, where she reviews TOS and shows off a little bit of her Star Trek bona fides. She shows that she understands the episodes that were in TOS. She'll talk about like, oh yeah, I love the episode Miri. Oh yeah, I love Patterns of Force. Oh yeah, I remember Obsession, and she'll have an okay recall of that. But you can tell, like, she's not a huge Star Trek fanatic. So the other person is doing all that, and that guy's in a Star Trek theme room, and he has the geek den like everyone else has, and he talks his Star Trek lore. And that's one type. Another one is where they praise New Trek endlessly for their political correctness and their conclusion and their diversity and their DEI hires. And it's weird because the two of them are just like 2 white people sitting there like, oh yeah, it's so great to see this representation. And oh yeah, Captain Pike, he's such a great negotiator. It's like, what? Una told him what the fuck to do and he went and did it. That's all that happened, guys. That's all that happened here. So there's that. Those are her 3 shows. This did not fall into those 3 shows. The one with Sussman. The one with Sussman fell into another category. It was purely about Enterprise, purely about Star Trek United's potential, and purely about doing a new entertaining Star Trek show that everyone could enjoy. There was no politics. There was no modern politics. There was no mention of any woke topics. It didn't go down any crazy rabbit holes, and it wasn't stupid. It was quite enjoyable to watch, and I thought it was fantastic. Mostly because Sussman did most of the talking and they fed him questions that he made sure were not political. So there was no politics in that. That was hugely dangerous. Then he ended up on something that is both great and horrible. He ended up with Trek culture. Trek culture is great because it means that CBS now has interest in this idea. It is a Paramount arm, okay? Trek culture is part of Paramount. So Trek culture had an interest in it. Trek culture means that CBS is spending money on it. So as bad as it was, and it was boring, and it was a nothing burger, he said the same things he said to Mary Trump. It was a better interview. But Sean Farrick, the interviewer for Trek culture, he tried to pull a couple of political questions, but Sussman didn't take the bait, really. He gave, really general or the most harmless possible answers. The problem is you're seeing them on Trek culture where you've seen and heard so many deeply offensive and crazy things from so many people associated with New Trek. So that is what it is. But the Tachyon Pulse, when we had him here, said he had been talking to Anson Mount, and Anson Mount says that the Kurtzman stuff seems to be done to him and that he was actually angry at him for getting some stuff wrong. We also have heard that Christina Chiang sang like a song on set to wrap their final day of filming, that's all over. Old Trek made you think. New Trek tells you what to think. Yes, Mark, that is true. Dead Man is correct. New Trek is very instructional and very hectoring. Could you imagine in an episode like Cold Station 12 with the augment loop, with Brent Spiner from Next Generation and Enterprise? They go to Cold Station 12. They find the embryonic augments, and they say, these are artificial wombs. And that's all they do. They store them, and they leave, and the story goes on. Could you imagine if Alex Kurtzman had done that episode? Could you imagine the guy who had a trans pirate jack the Enterprise? Could you imagine how long we would have gone down a rabbit hole into artificial wombs? It would have been absolutely horrible. No one even wants that. That is not Star Trek of anybody's enjoyment that anyone wants. No one wants to be talked to that way. And yeah, the Dead Man is right. And the episode I like to use as an example, and I'll come up with a new one soon, but the most political episode of original Star Trek is obviously Patterns of Force. I'm sorry, A Private Little War. A Private Little War is the most current eventsy and political episode of the original series. And look what it does when they say Star Trek was always political. Look how light the touch was. Look how well done it was. When they did A Private Little War, sitting on the couch together would have been a 46 to 48-year-old World War II veteran if they were 20 to 25 when they served, next to their 15 to 17-year-old dirty hippie son who is going to go smoke pot and protest against the Vietnam War. Two very different points of view sitting on the couch next to each other. You can't watch New Trek with your fucking parents unless your parents are wild woke people, and so are you. All right? And they're going to have some weird ideas about maybe you should start dressing different after they watch that. You're going to end up like the frogs outside of Disneyland changing your dating habits if you watch that shit. But with Alex Kurtzman, he would just be instructional in A Private Little War. Well, this is a terrible situation. Oh my God, it's a proxy war. Jim, you're acting like a savage. Jim, we can't give them weapons. Jim will be just as bad. Jim, have you thought this over? Jim, why are we doing this? Sir, this isn't a war worth fighting. It's not a war worth fighting. What happens? At the end of the episode, and we got like 22 people over on the vertical feed, hit the pinned post at the top of the chat and come on over to the landscape feed. There's no ads over here. And we're all crazy here. All right. So at any rate, in A Private Little War, the father who fought in World War II and the son who is not going to go fight in Vietnam could sit on that couch in 1967 and watch the episode, and neither of them are, compelled to start opinionating. You don't have to start arguing. And the episode takes a neutral point of view. The episode's point of view, if I have this right, and of course, the birth of the reader is the death of the artist, as they say, right? The death of the author begins. The birth of the reader begins with the death of the author's intent. So, when I see A Private Little War, I see the Federation forced into a situation that they didn't like, using an imperfect solution to try to, as Kirk says, this is a terrible idea, Bones, and it is absolutely the worst thing we could have done. But it's the only way that both sides survive, and, the only thing it does is kick the can. But since we have no solution right now, what else are we to do but kick the can? Because in that situation, the Federation couldn't impose peace. People always bring up What That Be Your Last Battlefield as an example of how Star Trek was always political. A season 3 episode. To that, I say yes. It hammered you over the head, and it was just as bad. The thing is, Let This Be Your Last Battlefield had unintentional ironic comedy and intentional comedy. And also it was a season 3 episode with some redeeming stuff as far as like great performances from our stars. But you're right. It was heavy handed. But I mean, Dead Man, look how bad their war was. Their planet was still on fire hundreds of thousands of years later. What the hell did they do to their planet what did they make their stuff out of that it was able to last and burn for hundreds of thousands of years? We shouldn't overlook Lokai and Commissioner Beale and the amazing things they did. Guys, join the channel if you haven't already. If you're on the vertical feed, come over to the landscape. We have cookies and we have no ads. All right, it's a lot better for you. Things will go much better for you on the landscape stream. The link is pinned to the top of the chat in the vertical stream. We're talking about how Star Trek seems to be poised for recovery. We do have more bad before there's good. Let There Be Your Last Battlefield came up last week on the show when we pointed out that I'm evil on the left side and Germ, Sean, and JT are evil on the right side. That's the big difference. I'm sorry, I hit my microphone there. That's the difference between us on Saving Star Trek, the members of the crew. And I think being evil on the left side, what can I say? I'm not down with that. You got to be evil on the right side like me. Anyway, Mongo like cookies. Jason Love. Jason, you can go have any cookie you want. You can have the black and white cookie. And if you don't like it being black on the right side and white on the left side, you can just turn the cookie upside down, the black and white cookie. It's very versatile. If a cup of coffee can cover every spectrum from black to white without anybody getting upset by pouring more milk into it, how come we can't just like have like TV shows that have people that are like we see walking down the street instead of over representing it? I live in a major city. I live in New York. The last time I saw someone who was like visibly trans was end of November. And I take a lot of subway trains where there's like 200, 300 people in a car, where I see like 600, 700 people on the platform. I see a lot of people. There are more people in a subway train that I take for 5 fucking minutes to go to another part of town to watch a movie than live in some small towns outside of, like, I don't know, Calgary in Canada. I'm actually evil on the mauve side, on the mauve. How do you say the word mauve? The mauve side, Admiral Teag. What can we call it? Lavender. All right. Yes. You know what? Sure. Yeah. You know what's funny? Half of me is evil, but I guess this would be the way to say it. Like, I'm evil from the waist down. They're evil from the waist up. I still want to get a t-shirt with an arrow pointing down that says "I'm with stupid." I had one when I was in college, and it was like the funniest effing thing. And it's true. It's true when you're in college, at least. Soft chocolate chip or brownie cookie with 2 to 3 types of chocolate chips. That sounds freaking good. You're making me hungry now. I need a parody, literally called the black and white cookie episode. We could do that for you. We could make that happen. And everyone's hailing each other. I'm more beige than evil. You know what? I'm not black on the right side. I'm just drawn that way. Rolling out. We're having a groovy night. Thanks for stopping by, Roman. It's great to see you. It's always great when we stop by each other's shows and chat a little bit. And thank you, sir. Guys, check out Roman of the Empire. He's a great YouTuber. Yes and no for me. It was done more observational than from the human point of view, and never really said who was good or evil between Lokai and Beale. That's true. In the end, all the hate did was destroy everything. I guess it means that at the extremes, things are very much the same, because like Lokai is like extremist, chaotic good because he thinks he's good, right? And then on the other end, you have like, you know, using Dungeons and Dragons stuff like the people did from freaking Stranger Things. And boy, was that ever a fizzle. Beale is lawful good in a really strong way. So he is so about the letter of the law. He chases Lokai for what, like 7,000 years, something preposterous like that. At some point, I just fucking give up. At some point, I say, sir, I've had enough of this one. I'm going to go home. And the I'm with stupid shirt, wearing the I'm with stupid shirt alone is so meta. Yeah, well, I mean, I think the arrow pointing down is like the funniest iteration. But yeah, I'm with stupid with nothing on it. Yeah. What can you tell? It is, or either that, or it's like I'm with stupid, just pointing to no one, and underneath it's like, and I'm schizophrenic, and we're both schizophrenic. Ah, the glory days of the I'm with stupid t-shirts. And Jason loves saying hello to Sean. Everyone's agreed. Everyone's liking everyone's choice. Vecna Chase Evil. I know what that term means, but now I have to Google it. Oh, yes. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Is he, was he the, like, did he turn out to be like somebody's, like the fault? Was that Matthew Modine's character? That whole thing. I'm going to tell you right now. I saw Stranger Things, I think the first season with Ethan Hunt's daughter. Okay. And that's when I was exposed to it. So I saw all of it up to then in like 3 weekends, and it was good. And I was really looking forward to the next season. 3 years later, it comes out. I didn't catch it. I wasn't excited anymore. I was no longer looking for it. And like, I didn't have that streaming service. I didn't find a way to watch it. I believe if I watch it, I'd probably enjoy it. I believe the word admiral is obsession or obsessive. Yes, it could be. It very possibly could be. But you know what? Chase, I mean, I gotta be honest. This is my experience with Stranger Things. I love Winona Ryder. I think she's really, really, really beautiful. Her biggest mistake in life was not marrying me. She would have been so happy. But the point is this: I would have never accomplished anything because there'd be no Winona Ryder movies after the point I married her because I would just be having sex with her continuously, and I would not let her leave my sight or put on clothes, and I would just spend all my time having sex with her because she's fucking hot. But so I watched all the first 3 seasons up to the point with the plot with the mind flayer who makes everyone explode at the end. Where how do they explain like a third of their town just like turning into freaking hamburger meat in that pool house or wherever they were? With that whole weird story with the guy at the Trans Am. So then, like years and years and years and years and years and years later, there's another season. I skipped that one, and I gotta say, Stranger Things was a good story, but it was the easiest show in the world not to get hooked on. Every third year, every fourth or fifth year, so many long layoffs. Vecna was controlled by the Mind Flayer and chose to team up with said Mind Flayer. That sucks. Admiral Teag, understandable. I've had a crush on her since Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Yeah, since we're the same age, I guess I'm allowed to say I thought she was hot in Great Balls of Fire, where she actually is like 18, and so was I. But she looked like they made her look 13 in that movie. I mean, I wasn't crushing on her in that movie. It's like within a year or two of Great Balls of Fire, she's in Heathers. I mean, and she's 19 by that point. Like she was in a like she's the same age as me. I think I'm the same age as Winona. Winona might even have a year or two on me. I'm being honest. And she dated the guy from The Replacements, and we all loved The Replacements back in the day. Paul Westerberg didn't want to be a rock star, and he didn't want to have sex with Winona Ryder. He was too cool for school. All he wanted to do was be a drunk. Good for him. It's probably why he has regrets. But I only watched the first season, the first 3, maybe 4 episodes of Stranger Things, and that was it. It was good. They did a great job of how do I explain it? They did a great job of recreating the 80s aesthetic. You had to live through it. They banked heavily on that 80s aesthetic to keep you watching. But like retrofuturism was one thing, but just outright nostalgia, that's big too. We saw with Fantastic Four, the retrofuturism was most of all they had, right? I had a crush on her since Beetlejuice. I'm trying to remember when I saw Winona Ryder and I was crushing on her. Like, I think geez, mermaids, baby. I mean, Winona Ryder is fucking gorgeous. I mean, I'm going to say maybe mermaids. I mean, I don't know. And like Christina Ricci was in that. Why don't we like have a sequel to that movie? All the principals are still alive and maybe even Bob Hoskins is still around. I don't remember, but like, let's just put those 2 hot women together in the same movie again. Like Winona Ryder and Christina Ricci both still looking really, really good. Oh, she is so gorgeous in Edward Scissorhands. My God, is she ever gorgeous in Edward Scissorhands? And, to make me not interested enough to just check out of something with Winona Ryder, that takes a lot of effort. And Winona, it was good for her that it brought her back because she was kind of on the ropes in Hollywood for a little while after that Girl Interrupted thing kind of made her look a little bit bad and a little bit crazy, right? Like it wasn't the easiest thing for her to do the Girl Interrupted like aftermath, where first of all, she very wisely chose not to be the star of her own movie and directed well, so give her credit there. The movie did get recognized as being a good, this is so true. The thing is, it ruined my mind that as I was a little, as a kid growing up, I watched Sonny and Cher all the time. So I thought Cher was really hot. I dig conversations about hot chicks says, put my cock in her. put my cock in her. You know what? To reward you for that, since you said that, I got a little something special for my friends who have hung in here with me. I think that we can beautify the landscape a little bit. Here she is. You know, you love her. For $2, it gets you Sydney Sweeney. You know what? You got your Sydney Sweeney. Now you get a little bit of Star Trek video. Here we go.
She was attacked by what appears to be essentially a robot.
Is that some kind of personal massage device? That last season of Strange New Worlds was some of the worst Star Trek we saw until the next Star Trek they're going to give us. The season that we're going to get of Starfleet Academy, the trailer looks terrible. In fact, I have not been able to finish the trailer. The trailer looks horrible. The they, them, Hadar. I don't know what to tell you about. I don't know what to tell you about this one, folks. I am absolutely heartbroken that it's even coming out. I wish Paramount would burn it, but I will say this. I have said this over and over, and one day I might even be right, and one day he'll be gone from Star Trek, but no new Trek project is real until it drops on Paramount Plus, and it's still not real until it ends, until you watch it all the way through. This is such a tenuous relationship with reality, such a bad relationship with your employer, that halfway through the episode, they can be like, it's tanking, just pull it. Like, they are that far down. There is no one who has any regard for Alex Kurtzman in Hollywood anymore, in my opinion. How are you going to get a job in Hollywood these days? So you're an activist forever. That's 1.1% of the population that's in your corner for that, if they watch Star Trek. So you got like the Star Trek watching proportion of people known to go out every night to clubs and have freaking wild parties. They're not sitting home watching TV. What was your idea? Star Trek will be on at so many raves while people are tweeting about it on their phones. It'll be caught in the background of a lot of pictures. Like, Alex Kurtzman has never grown up. He is, and thank you so much. Put my cock in her for the generous $2 United States super chat. It's really nice of you. Cher was definitely hot, but then the late 80s and 90s and so on. I'm going to say Cher's beauty peaked in the commercials in the early 80s when she was doing the fitness club commercials, and we saw her in just like a half t-shirt and short shorts, and it was like all real form fitting, and she was just working out and sweaty. And we also saw Cher's real hair. Cher just has like a short pixie cut or even sometimes a crew cut because it's all about wigs. And within a few years, she wins that Academy Award deservedly for a movie that it was all right. I don't mind Moonstruck. I'm from New York. I understand that kind of weird Italian neighborhood vibe. I mean, I'm kind of from one, right? And everybody's having a good laugh. But yeah, I would say Cher started to look really horrible. She still doesn't look really horrible, but Cher started to look uncanny after about 4 or 5 years after the video for Believe. And just so you know, Believe, that weird vocal glitch that's going on there, that was a technical problem. She was the one who made the decision to leave it in the song. So she does have some talent. And the Dead Man, wow. Hey, Dead Man, thank you. Star Trek Academy trailer. Member. Are you talking like in the sense of like Mad Max? It's like, remember this. And like they click the Viewmaster, remember this. And then they click it again. Remember this. And they click it again. Walker. Like, really, the people left over from Star Trek right now, we really are the people at that oasis in the middle of the desert. The thing is that maybe, like, you know, in the form of Mike Sussman and in the form of David Ellison, we've got our Captain Walkers to kind of lead us through here. It won't be perfect. We might still lose a few people in a sinkhole, but you know what? We're going to take it to the people in Bartertown. Who owns Star Trek Town? The fans. We, the fans, own Star Trek Town. And yeah, thank you for supporting the fleet. The Dead Man. The fleet is grateful. And you know what? The Star Trek United update video, I think I'm going to work on it tomorrow. Exactly. Member berries. I got where you're coming from. And member berries, I just found out it starts with South Park. It's a South Park meme. And Jason Love said this. Yeah. Mask was a great movie with Sam Elliott. Clearly, Cher wanted to turn back time. Yeah. If I could find a way. I take back all the things that could hurt you, and I'd say. I just want to be honest with you. If you met Cher and you didn't know it was Cher, you know, um, don't ask me, but I can't understand why she walks like a woman but talks like a man. I mean, Cher's all a woman and she's one good-looking horny woman, but like when she walks, it's like, "Hi, I'm Cher. My kid's name is Charles Bono." Turned into a guy. I mean, Cher does have a dude voice, that deceptive dude voice that Cher has. But think about it. She dated Gene Simmons through the 80s. So they have like, that's where he picked up his understanding of showmanship. And like, there was a transfer back and forth. Sorry, guys. I'm just thinking through this one as I look at the time code. We're on for 2 hours, 16 minutes. It's going to be like 5 more minutes. We'll get your thoughts in here and we'll finish up what we think is happening with Star Trek. On the small screen, Star Trek Academy does seem to be going in a pretty good direction and doing pretty well for the people at Paramount. It is going to probably have its volume cranked up next week when Starfleet Academy comes out. I'm going to compete with the Star Trek Academy videos with a a Star Trek United video. If you remember this channel, I would ask you to turn on notifications. The It's a Wonderful Life video, 3,000 channel members, only 1,000 views. I would have hoped that some more people would have jumped on that or at least hit like. Guys, if you don't have time to watch one of my videos, do me a favor, hit like. That'll keep it in your queue. You can come back and watch it again later. It also, I need the signal boost right now. Critical time for Admiral Teag. Breaking out 3,100. Starks at 3,200. Congratulations to him. I got to try to catch up to him. But you know what? It's more important to have the right people here. Like, not everyone likes long form content. Gene Simmons dropped her for Diana Ross. That's some craziness. I don't think it lasted that long because then he's been with Shannon Tweed for 30 years. I think the deal was that was his rebound relationship because like she was just like, you know what, Gene, you're an asshole. Gene, you're an asshole. I'm gonna get out of here. And it's like, well, sure. What do you mean? I can see how Gene can drive you slowly crazy, but he is charming for a while. He really is. I mean, he's from Queens. How can I hate him, right? Deceptive Dude voice sounds like a modern band album title. You know what? Give it to Lizzie Hale. But she has a non-deceptive female voice, unless you're like, Dio sounds more feminine today. You know what? Quite honestly, the Star Trek prospects could get better. I do think Academy will be terrible. The straight relationship will be a cautionary tale against being straight. Am I right? Am I right? Did they do it? It's a Wonderful Life two-parter to end the show in season 6. I'm gonna have to see that. What happened if you had never been born hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times because he had lived like dozens of lifetimes? That would be very interesting. And you know, as a McLeod myself, I would be interested in seeing that one. It sounds very interesting, to be quite honest with you, sirs and madams. And you know what? I'm just going to check something real quick. Just give me a second here, sirs and madams. Yeah, you know what? There has been repeated problems with technical sabotage, sometimes forcing me to go on in the shadow of another show. So right now, that pack-led freighter that I usually track, that one's still live. Usually what happens is they try to stay on for hours and hours and hours because they can't draw flies. And what they're going to do is they're just going to like probably launch some form of an attack against me by the time all of this is over. So kind of afraid of that channel's malevolence. So I think while they're still tied up talking basically to nobody, what I'm going to do is let them have their completed conversation with the only bot that anybody wanted to do with Stream Elements, which is also a shit bot. But cranking out the same. By the way, Mark D with a C, could you add my name to the Stream Elements bot? I would love to see it when I'm there in the chat for Sunday Night Geekery. I recommend all my friends and all their channels. They are great guys. I recommend Roman of the Empire. I also recommend that you check out Resolute Germ, who handles the watch parties for this channel. This Saturday night, we have an amazing Star Trek show for you. It's going to be Star Trek The Ugly. We are doing Star Trek 11, 12, and 13. In other words, Trek 09, Star Trek Into Darkness, and Star Trek Beyond. Germ is going to be the Beyond expert. I have to watch and be expert on all 3 movies. There are 2 other people. I believe that I can talk JT into being expert on one of the movies, and then I guess everybody's kind of like got expert level on Into Darkness because of the hate we have for it. Look for just a venting of absolute drive plasma right out of the nacelles as we try to get through a discussion of the Kelvin movies. Let me tell you something. I tried to put on Trek 09 today to watch a little of it. I don't even know if I'm capable of making notes for this movie. I absolutely hate that movie. I thought it was terrible, and I walked out of that theater just angry and sickened. Let me just catch up to the rest of your comments, and then we're just about ready to check out of here. Let's see. Deceptive Dude voice sounds like a modern band album title. It really does. Right? Like the Kaiser Chiefs come back with Deceptive Dude voice. They're the first album in 15 years. Highlander series of This Wonderful Life, and also how the friends in his life would have turned out if there was no Duncan MacLeod. That is deeply interesting in the context of a Highlander-like character. I didn't watch the show so much. Life was going really good 30 years ago when that show was on. Life was going effing great. I was having an awesome time driving around, seeing awesome movies like Independence Day, banging hot chicks, and doing all the things that are fun in life. All that's best in life. Now I'm an old man, and the most fun I have is talking to all of you every couple of days about Star Wars, Star Trek, the MCU, and all these other amazing things, including pop culture and Hollywood. And it's been an amazing talk with all of you. We've got Sydney Sweeney up there. You guys have been amazingly generous. I want to say again, I want to thank you guys for everything you did for me in the month of December, the members of my community, everyone who chatted or super chatted. I want to thank the Tachyon Pulse for coming on. He's been like, today people were criticizing the Tachyon Pulse for the fact that for his reads. His reads are good, and he does fix the mistakes sometimes. I've seen him pull off a lot of perfect reads. No need to apologize on his reading or on his delivery. Now that I read his response that it's unscripted and he does it off the top of his head, I'm even more impressed. But Tachyon Pulse has nothing to be ashamed of on his delivery of his information. He's well-spoken that way, and he was willing to come on here and hold forth. I want to say, we had wondered about the viability of his channel and how real it was. It does seem like someone who had 5,000 subs came in and watched that episode. It has about 4 or 5 times the views of a normal weekday show, and it wasn't any longer. So Tachyon Pulse, he kind of bought his appearance. We were skeptical. And if you watch the video again with Tachyon Pulse, there's 2 different Teags in the video. The first 45 minutes, I'm a lot more intense because I'm trying to keep him from going down any like dead ends where like I didn't want to have to explain arbitration until then, after he said he would blow off his time constraint, because we were only going to have him for an hour. So after about an hour in there, when he says, no, I'll hang out, we level it down, and there's a lot of information in part 2 too. So we still don't know how he gets the information. He told me off screen, and he didn't mind me sharing this. I asked him first. I'm pretty ethical with this stuff. And, I have journalistic training from the 20th century. What can I tell you? I used to love the written word. Literature and writing was like a minor in college, and I love that stuff. But the Tachyon Pulse said, I asked him off camera, I said, are you a messenger or are you a forecaster? And he smiled and said, I'm a messenger. So this is my latest theory, and he hasn't confirmed or denied it, and I'll ask him, and we'll see what he says. It's possible you could get good info this way, and he has a pretty high batting average. He's better than 500. Saturday Night Fever is what I would call the show for the Kelvin movie show. Oh, Saturday Night like fever dream. Saturday Night COVID. Oh, Oh, the horrors of the idea of doing that. Let me just make sure the Packlids are still up there, because when the Packlids land, sometimes this show gets attacked. Can't have that happening. All right, so the bottom line is this. We'll be back with the Kelvin Star Trek movies on Saturday, and I'll be back on Thursday. Last week, amazing. Tachyon Pulse, I think, gets his information by being, I think he's a top tier Patreon sub for everybody, and that he just asks J. Michael Straczynski, what are you planning? He just asks the people from Star Trek, what did they tell you? And that makes him a messenger. It does. And he's good at what he does. He has a high batting average because they have to tell these people something that resembles the truth to keep them on board until it's time to lie to them. So when he's wrong, he's wrong. And he's been wrong. But his batting average is pretty high. And I think this is what happens. He joins something like, I don't know, Melissa Navia or Anson Mount or Rebecca Romaine's Patreon, right? Or Sean Ferrick's Patreon, or the Patreon of someone from New Trek, or someone who's like a highly placed, maybe Nerdrotics, maybe something like that. And, some actor. And he pays the money for the access. And also, he's been to San Diego Comic-Con. He lives in England. I live in America. I have never been to California, let alone the San Diego Comic-Con. So he's doing all right for himself. He has a good job, he said. He's a social worker, and he's increasing his social worker income. His business model, unlike Neural Derp, like Neural Derp, it does not rely on live streaming. I'm a live streamer. I also do videos. My videos don't light the world on fire, but they do okay. His videos, he just does these uploads, and they seem to catch fire. A lot of the time, I think it's because it's what people want to hear. But if he's getting this information from top-tier Patreon and channel memberships, it means that he most likely is he's getting the same information that Kurtzman would be giving those people if he's getting the Kurtzman people. He can't have a Paramount source. If he has a Paramount source, he hasn't said so. His Paramount sources are sources within Secret Hideout, are sources within the cast. Some of these sources are just openly saying these things on YouTube, and he's synthesizing them and putting them together. I believe that although he is a messenger, he is also a forecaster making good guesses. I don't know, unless he wants to say, no, actually, like, I'm a copywriter for the BBC and I have access to this stuff. Till then, we don't know exactly how he did it. We told him, we just want to talk to you about your Kurtzman prediction that he's not gone. And he laid it out, and we didn't get deeply into his channel. Sidetrack, I don't know what the hell happened over at Sidetrack. They have 35,000 subs and 2 people watching with 2 people on the air. That is some trash engagement. I have 1/10, 1/12 of their subs, and we have 15 people watching. Now I have 2 streams going on at the same time here. And a lot of you are, oh, wow, there's like no one over on the vertical stream. The landscape stream is doing quite well, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Although I do not want to push my luck with the pack lead. I think he's almost done talking to himself over there. I love you all. Star Trek, what's ours before will be ours again. 2026, the year that we struck back. The Wrath of Teag. There will be restoration on the final frontier. I love you all. Saving Star Trek is brought to you by Gene Roddenberry and Admiral Teague's Insanity. The patience and the outright groundedness that Resolute Germ has given me. And to our pal Shrubby, who sent 10 Admiral Teague memberships, fans like Shrubby, and also fans like, sorry, as I go from stream to stream to thank people. I don't like having 2 streams at once. I just do not like messing with what YouTube tells us. They have returned us to suggesting default landscape, but I'm going to give them one of these every week because, by the way, it's not the worst for exposure. It's like running an ad campaign with that outlier there. And also, like, most people now know that you go to the landscape feed. You don't hang out in the vertical feed. But also fans like Sean Carter, Put My Cock in Her, and The Dead Man, as well as Shrubby 1989, who contributed to our fans like you, viewers like you who support our channel and our message to save Star Trek. Guys, the worst is yet to come, unfortunately. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Just take a deep breath now. I feel like Gandalf. It's a deep breath before the storm. You brought me back. Your love of Star Trek brought me back. I am Teag the White, and I come back to you now. At the turning of the tide, set the warp drive for 9. Set course for Sector 001. We are returning to the original continuity. We will save Star Trek. Remember, over all these years, who never backed down, who never gave up hope, who said over and over and over, Doctor Who, fucked, finished. Star Wars, fucked, finished. Star Trek, by its nature, savable, worth saving. We can't leave it out there. The final rescue mission is underway. If we could be strong, if we could be resolute, and if we could be ready to take on this problem, if we can be strong, if we can stick together as a team, if we can move, fight, and fight like a team, we can bring this back to the fans. The fans who saved Deep Space Nine from being a bad show by not having enough characters or a ship of its own. The fans who saved Star Trek from cancellation again and again. The fans who saved Enterprise once. The fans who want to bring Enterprise back as Star Trek United. What was ours before will be ours again. Friends, I love you all.
Admiral Teag, please
Nigel, what's
stop
wrong?
using copyrighted material.
No, never. Here's a whole bunch of copyrighted material from the Rolling Stones who love when I show it to people. But first, here's Peg and Spock.
Insufficient sensor data. Incorrect.
10 fucking grueling hours.
By the way, guys, before you go, little life tip, little life hack. Everyone has access to Grok if you have X, right? And if you don't, like, Grok is a pretty decent AI. It hallucinates and it does stuff wrong, but it's really well trained and it's really good for art. And as we found out, all the deviant art, as Neural Derp called it, the deviant art, is what these things train on. If somebody is trying to draw and saying that they're an artist, I'm going to be honest with you here. If anyone wants to baggage claim this one and say that I'm talking about them, there's too many people who fit the bill for this to be any particular person. If you have missed your window in the artistic field and you have made it to middle age and you're not working in that field and you can't back up your resume, it's just a bunch of words, and you're a rage goblin, and people can predict that you'll act out and be enraged, and everywhere you go you are leaving trails of rage. You cannot not react. There are some people that none of us are ever going to like. Most of us just move on and leave them alone. There's nobody in this world who needs to go again and refresh their hatred for someone by seeking out a conversation with them. Okay, that's sick shit. It also shows that you are like too weird and unreliable to ever make it in the very competitive field of being an artist. There are a lot of people who can draw, and there's a hell of a lot of people who fucking can't, who think they can. But there's a lot of people who can draw. These days, if you want to be a notable comic artist, the best thing you're going to pull off is making $3,000 for a 30-page comic. That's $100 a page. And that would mean that someone pays you. You're going to pull that off in how long? $300. All right. That's not a week's pay. $100 a page, 30 pages, $3,000. All right. Will that get you through a month? Will that get you through a month? And if you still haven't worked at it and you're just a rage goblin, are you going to go anywhere? Would anybody ever hire someone who can't pass a basic background check? What do I mean by that? Guys, I'm going to give you a little life advice. Our social media now, they can tell who you are from it. If you are acting crazy all the time, seeking out conflict and acting like a douchebag, you're just going to sink yourself. You have to show some ability to self-govern on social media, or you're never going to go anywhere, and it'll slam doors on you. Believe me, screaming retard over and over at somebody just to feel better is never going to advance you. And I would also point out this. If you're going to draw a picture and put it on X, people can then grok that picture and say, is this person any good? What's wrong with this picture? And Grok will say things like, they have no toes and their arms are at an impossible angle. And this person doesn't. You know what? I'm going to give you guys a suggestion. If you want to be an artist, don't do it because it's really difficult. Do it as a hobby. But if you want to be an artist, study anatomy. Understand how a human hand works and folds and what a fist looks like and how toes move. Understand that. Hey, look who's back. Did you get a break? Welcome. Oh, hey, you're still on. Sweet. Nice. Listen to the drive home. Who are we talking about? No one in particular. We're talking about the competitive field of comics and comic writing. There are a lot of people fundraising. We had a big dust up with a comic creator, and they were not able to rectify what they did. But they went after Dave C. They went after They went after JT. They went after me a little bit. And all we did was hold up their own failed deadlines and show the receipts of previous past deadlines. While they were not pleased about this, I will give them credit for this. They said they were wrong. They said they needed to do better, and they said they needed to fix it. They then launched an attempt to fix it, and nothing came of it. And I said then, and I said now, if they have not been able to complete this in 13 years, they're not going to be able to complete it in the 6 months they just gave themselves. It's not even a realistic time frame. And also, they shouldn't raise any more money off of that until they can finish it. You need completed PDFs that you release to your backers for free to show them that you're done before you ask people for any more money to publish. And as far as some of these people going on YouTube, if you're going to be doing a beg up on YouTube, and people do this, I've seen this done on YouTube, please spare us saying that you are unable to use your limbs and then having a draw stream as well. Okay. And if anyone who wants to pick this one up and say, like, I'm the guy who said I can't move my arms who has a draw stream, go ahead and then try to have another draw stream. I think it's a little silly. But with that being said, you know what? We love you all. And that is our show for tonight. Have a great show. And here she is. You know her. You love her. You earned her. It's Sydney Sweeney. Tonight's final tip, guys. Do not ever post your artwork on YouTube, on X, thinking that people won't grok it and ask it, why does this picture suck? I suggest you do that to any picture posted from now on. Can I finish? Bye, guys.